Chapter 62, Chapter 62, Chapter 62, stopping at the ninth level, Chapter 62, Chapter 62, stopping at the ninth level. Ha! Ha! A herd of monohorn wild boars is charging towards Lu Yun, their eyes sparkling with bloodlust and madness, seeming never to rest until they've shredded the human in front of them to pieces. Yet, facing the furious and insane monohorn wild boars, Lu Yun only reveals a faint smile on his face. Whoosh! B0XO. Calm. His speed escalates abruptly. The vast pure yang aura is amplified, its formidable momentum shocking the nearby monohorn wild boars and making their first stand on end immediately. Lu Yun charges. In an instant, stepping out with an eerie movement underfoot. It's from the black tiger saber technique. As he gets close, he puts a twist to his body. His tiger head broad saber grazes across the flesh of the monohorn wild boar and pierces through its throat. Splat! Blood spurts out, and another highly robust monohorn wild boar has been taken down. Lu Yun quickly turns around to evade the charge of another monohorn wild boar, then locates his next target. It's a monohorn wild boar that leaps fiercely and swoops down with a strong gust. Lu Yun immediately leans backward, barely scraping past the boar. In the blink of an eye, the tiger head broad saber hews across the boar's belly as they brush against one another, leaving a long gash. Its massive frame collapses to the ground and no longer shows signs of life. Roar, roar! Two more monohorn wild boars charge from both sides, their massive mouths and sharp horns about to make contact with Lu Yun. Lu Yun flips over, his feet delivering a powerful kick to the head of one monohorn wild boar, sending it flying. Simultaneously, the tiger head broadsaber in his hand lets out a whoosh as it thrusts towards the skull of the other charging monohorn wild boar. Splat! The broad saber instantly penetrates the eye of the monohorn wild boar and goes through its entire skull. There are just too many monohorn wild boars, fast and fiercely strong. Even a formidable person like Lu Yun has to be careful. If he becomes careless and gets ambushed by any one of them, his body can't handle it. He might even fail at the ninth floor. Relying on his flexibility, Lu Yun weaves through the group of rabid monohorn wild boars. His mastery of the black tiger saber technique enhances his maneuverability, allowing him to continuously find their weak spots and kill them with one swift slash. Exerting a lot of effort, he manages to kill several more monohorn wild boars. Despite this, there are still about 30 monohorn wild boars surrounding him. After a fierce battle, these monohorn wild boars have become even more bloodthirsty and crazy. They don't seem like demon beasts evolved from energy at all. Although my speed is good, and the black tiger saber technique includes some maneuvers, facing so many demon beasts attacking at once is still somewhat exhausting. Seems like one need to find a maneuver-based martial arts technique in the book collection pavilion. Previously, Lu Yun faced fewer enemies who were also much weaker than him, so he didn't pay much attention to his body movement. He believed that his explosive speed was enough to cope with all battles. Only now does he realize the importance of body movement. Constantly fighting is the only way to find one's weaknesses and shortcomings. Looking at the horde of monohorn wild boars approaching like an army, Lu Yun's eyes grow cold. Given the current situation, only the most primitive style of fight is appropriate. Suddenly, Lu Yun ceases dodging. A powerful, aggressive aura surges within him, the blade in his hands gleaming in the cold, saber energy overflowing. In a split second, he swings the saber, unleashing relentless attacks. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. The sight is filled with blades that stretch over a yard, flashing in an instant, with Lu Yun slicing through dozens of swords. Dozens of powerful sword lights soar toward the massive group of monohorn wild boars that are rushing forward. These clusters of curved sword lights slice through the scene, shattering the ground inch by inch, creating an intimidating spectacle. Splat, splat, splat. These dozens of sword lights not only move fast, but also possess terrifying power. As they slice through, they immediately cut up the peak second-rank monohorn wild boars instantaneously. After the sword lights passed, in the 9th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower, only 3 monohorn wild boars remained. These 3 monohorn wild boars that luckily survived are trembling in fright from the earlier scene, appearing extremely lifelike. I used up almost half of my pure yang aura in one go. This style of fighting, indeed, can't be used often. After a round of fierce operations, Lu Yun felt his dantian had instantly emptied significantly. Only Lu Yun would dare to play out the performance of slicing dozens of terrifying yard-length blades of light in an instant. If others dare to do so, their dantian would probably fail instantly. No, it would be hard for them to do so, because very few people have his vast, aggressive aura at the Meridian Passage realm. I've already passed the 6th, 7th, and 8th floors of the Myriad Phenomena Tower. If one again managed to pass the 9th floor, that would mean 4 continuous floors. Such progress would indeed be monstrous to others. Lu Yun's eyes are flickering with determination. Based on his capabilities, the 9th floor shouldn't be his limit. Even the unknown 10th floor might not be able to stop him. A swooping bird gets shot. A snake poking its head out gets chopped. Stunning is allowed, but not excessively. If one stands out too much, it's easy to attract excessive attention, even calamities. Entering the 9th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower merely 3 months after admission is already high-profile and stunning enough. Before he has fully grown, it's necessary to remain low-key to some extent. Otherwise, there will be no opportunity for growth. The current Martial Academy and the Spirit Martial Prefecture are not safe cradles. There are still many forces secretly opposing the government. When the water is full, it overflows. When the moon is full, it wanes. I must be prepared for any eventuality and lay low, Lu Yun thought. He is not a naive youth. His talent is strong. He has external benefits that outsiders couldn't imagine, and his capabilities are also formidable. But this strength is only relative to his peers and the martial artists of the same rank. Faced with this thought, Lu Yun has made up his mind. He sheathed his tiger-head broadsaber, hands clasped behind his back, slowly advancing towards the remaining 3 monohorn wild boars. Yes, he intended to surrender and stoically accept death. But what happened next made him find it rather amusing. The 3 surviving monohorn wild boars, scared to trembling, backed away. Is this really a demon beast that evolved from the Myriad Phenomena Tower? Lu Yun looked somewhat speechless. When he was on a killing spree, these monohorn wild boars were much fiercer. Now that he is surrendering and ready for slaughter, they seem to be cowards. What a bunch of wimps, he thought smugly, and turned his gaze toward the vortex portal in another corner. He guessed that should be the exit of the Myriad Phenomena Tower. Every floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower has an exit, but the entrance only appears after all the demon beasts within the corresponding floor have been killed. Stepping into the vortex portal, Lu Yun's silhouette slowly fades away inside the Myriad Phenomena Tower. Meanwhile, there's a stir at the Myriad Phenomena Square. Everyone is astounded as they look at the Myriad Phenomena Jade Wall, because Lu Yun just consecutively passed through the 6th, 7th, and 8th floors of the Myriad Phenomena Tower, advancing into the 9th. Chapter 63, Chapter 63, Chapter 63, Huge Contribution Points. Chapter 63, Chapter 63. Huge Contribution Points. The dynamic information column at the top of the Myriad Phenomena Jade Wall changed constantly. The information displayed here represented major events that caused a sensation in the Myriad Phenomena Tower and attracted the attention of the tower spirit. These included someone passing more than 3 levels in a row within the first 10 levels of the tower. For levels between 10 to 20, someone passing 2 levels in a row. And for people entering the 20th level and above, each level they pass would be reported. B0XO. Com Lu Yun had passed 3 levels in a row. Moreover, when the information that he passed 3 levels was displayed on the Myriad Phenomena Jade Wall, it had only been a short time since he entered the tower. Such a fast clearing speed was simply unheard of. With a bewildered expression, Ma Yunfei stared at the slowly moving information on the Myriad Phenomena Jade Wall, his eyes full of shock and disbelief. Mo, is that possible? How could Lu Yun pass the 8th level? How could his strength be so strong? Ma Yunfei's pride and complacency were greatly shattered. The calm and composed face he once wore was replaced by shock and doubt. The difficulty of passing the Myriad Phenomena Tower increased with each level, not to mention the 10 level 2 late-stage demon beasts of the 6th level. Even peak Meridian Passage realm disciples in the Martial Academy might not be able to defeat them. On the 7th level, there were 2 peak level 2 demon beasts. Even Ma Yunfei, a genius with a top-notch level 5 innate talent, had used some means to resolve them. The 8th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower was even more absurd, as there were 10 peak level 2 demon beasts. Only those who faced the terror of these 10 peak level 2 demon beasts would understand. These beasts were not unintelligent creatures waiting to be slowly slain, but creatures that understood tactics such as surprise attacks and combined attacks. Ma Yunfei, who was considered the second best among the new disciples, couldn't even defeat 2 of them, ultimately admitting defeat with regret. For this reason, he deeply understood how difficult it was to pass the 8th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower. After leaving the tower, Lu Yun emerged with a pale and flawless face. Under the sunlight, his angular and stern face appeared both dazzling like the sun and as cold as the moonlight. The people on Myriad Phenomena Square all looked at Lu Yun with fervent and curious eyes. When they saw that cold face and the indifferent, deep, and mysterious ice eyes, they couldn't help but lower their heads. Even Ma Yunfei turned his head away, not daring to look at Lu Yun. Just then, his gaze fell on the Myriad Phenomena Jade Wall again. When he saw the new information on it, his pupils contracted. What? Someone else passed the 3 levels too. It's Xiao Chun. He passed the 8th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower too. One by one, the other disciples turned their attention to the Myriad Phenomena Jade Wall. Indeed, it showed the news of Xiao Chun passing the 6th, 7th, and 8th levels of the Myriad Phenomena Tower. This batch of new disciples is so strong. Not to mention Ma Yunfei, who just passed the 7th level. 2 more people have successively passed the 8th level today. It's so fierce. With Bai Haoxuan previously, there are already 3 new disciples who have passed the 8th level. Given their clearing speed, it won't be long before the Star Palace will have 3 more newcomers. Some older disciples discussed with excitement and shock. At the same time, they felt deep pressure. Even after entering the Martial Academy for several years, they were still hovering around the 7th and 8th levels, yearning for the Star Palace, but unable to reach it. The 9th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower was like an insurmountable mountain for them, and the 10th level was an insurmountable chasm. Senior brother, shall we continue to stay here? One of the disciples beside Ma Yunfei asked softly, seeing his dejected face. Ma Yunfei turned his head again, no longer looking at the Myriad Phenomena Jade Wall, and spoke with a hoarse voice. Let's go. His original purpose for staying had been achieved, but the result was not what he expected, even far exceeding his expectations. Thinking about his previous pride and complacency, Ma Yunfei felt deeply ashamed. He quickly picked up his pace, wanting to leave the Myriad Phenomena Square, as if he could fly. Actually, if he could improve his strength a bit more, he could have passed the 8th level. But even if he could have barely passed it, there would still be a gap between him and Xiao Chun and Lu Yun. Whether it was Xiao Chun or Lu Yun, they started from the 6th level and successively passed the 6th, 7th, and 8th levels. And within the Myriad Phenomena Tower, there was hardly any time to catch your breath. After passing one level, the challenge of the next level would begin soon after. So, Lu Yun and Xiao Chun in one breath had successively solved the difficulties of the 6th, 7th, and 8th levels. This was no longer as simple as passing the 8th level. That's why Ma Yunfei was so shocked and distraught. The gap was too huge. Of course, if he knew that Lu Yun scared away the demon beasts on the 9th level and voluntarily left the Myriad Phenomena Tower, then his shock would not be so simple. After leaving the tower, Lu Yun saw the information about Xiao Chun passing the 8th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower on the Jade Wall. He didn't feel surprised at all. In Green Cloud County, Xiao Chun was able to kill the true Qi realm martial artists of the White Lotus sect. After returning, he made great progress in seclusion. The 8th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower naturally couldn't stop him. The only thing Lu Yun was curious about was whether Xiao Chun could pass the 9th level. On the 9th level, there were 50 peak level 2 demon beasts. Xiao Chun couldn't determine the outcome in a short time, so Lu Yun didn't leave either. Instead, he checked his own gains. Passing the 6th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower grants 500 contribution points. Passing the 7th level grants 1,000 contribution points. Passing the 8th level grants 1,500 contribution points. 3 successive messages appeared on his identity token, and his endeavor in the Myriad Phenomena Tower had earned him a total of 3,000 contribution points. I gained so many contribution points all at once. Lu Yun's eyes sparkled, including the contribution points he had earned from previous missions. He now had a total of 4,445 contribution points. Lu Yun stared at the towering Myriad Phenomena Tower with gleaming eyes, thinking to himself, this place is not only the best for trials, but also a great place to gain resources. I'm loving it more and more. It didn't take long for Xiao Chun to emerge from the Myriad Phenomena Tower. His handsome face showed no sorrow or joy, but beneath his sword-like eyebrows, his sharp eyes radiated a strong fighting spirit. This showed that he had just experienced an extremely intense battle. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Xiao Chun walked towards where Lu Yun was. Stopped at the 9th level. How about you? Lu Yun smiled lightly. Same as you, I was defeated by the 9th level. Is that so? Xiao Chun looked deeply at Lu Yun, then nodded slowly. Just then, a bearded middle-aged man dressed in black approached, drawing the attention of the disciples. The black-clothed middle-aged man had a rough and indifferent face. Without paying attention to the disciples, he walked straight through the crowd, arriving in front of Lu Yun and Xiao Chun. Chapter 64. Chapter 64. Chapter 64. Dean's Summoning. Chapter 64. Chapter 64. Dean's summoning. The indifference on the face of the man in black receded slightly, revealing a faint smile as he looked at Lu Yun and Xiao Chun with interest upon seeing this black-clad middle-aged man who suddenly appeared before them. Xiao Chun and Lu Yun both felt a strong oppressive aura at the same time. So strong, there's no way to win. Lu Yun thought to himself. Right now, his strength was enough to easily deal with level 5 martial artists in the true Qi realm's mid-stage. Even if they were in the late stage, they might not necessarily be able to defeat him. B0XO. Calm, however, in front of this middle-aged man, he couldn't muster any will to resist at all. This showed just how terrifying this middle-aged man was. He must be a transforming origin realm expert, at the very least. Xiao Chun also felt the pressure coming at him, making him feel weak and even have difficulty breathing. The afternoon sun shone on Myriad Phenomena Square, and the black-clad middle-aged man, Xiao Chen and Lu Yun, attracted everyone's attention. Now, the three of them stood silently on the spot, not moving at all. However, it was clear that the black-clad middle-aged man was relaxed, with his hands behind his back and a faint smile on his face. Xiao Chen and Lu Yun, on the other hand, gradually had beads of sweat forming on their foreheads. This sweat was definitely not due to the hot temperature or the strong sun. Which one of you two young fellows is Xiao Chen, and which one is Lu Yun? About a dozen breaths later, the black-clad, middle-aged man retracted his powerful aura. With a satisfied gaze in his muddy eyes, he looked at Lu Yun and Xiao Chen and asked with a smile, "Lu Yun, Xiao Chen." Lu Yun and Xiao Chen replied one after another with a respectful tone. With the middle-aged man in black having withdrawn his oppressive aura, they both felt a wave of relief all over their bodies. At the same time, their gazes towards the man in black were also filled with some reverence. It was essential to maintain necessary respect for a martial artist far stronger than oneself. Lu Yun and Xiao Chen, both the cream of the crop among the new disciples, knew this very well. Moreover, they had just personally experienced the other party's strength. Seeing the two obedient young men in front of him, who were impressive without losing their composure, the satisfaction in the eyes of the black-clad middle-aged man grew even stronger. Not bad, not bad," as expected from disciples who have only entered the martial academy for 3 months and have passed the 8th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower. Even under my oppressive aura, you still stand proudly. After praising them, the black-clothed middle-aged man continued, "I am Chen Tianyun. You may call me Elder Chen. I was summoned by the dean to bring you two to meet him." Without waiting for Lu Yun and Xiao Chen to reply, Chen Tianyun said, "Come with me. The dean's busy, so let's not keep him waiting." Lu Yun and Xiao Chen glanced at each other, both seeing the confusion and curiosity in each other's eyes, but they quickly followed along. The Flying Spirit Martial Academy was vast, and it took 2 hours to travel from Myriad Phenomena Square to the dean's cultivating place. They took a scenic and winding path, and soon found themselves in front of a serene and elegant courtyard. There were only 3 or 4 houses in the courtyard. In the center of the courtyard stood a stout tree that reached the sky. Its wide-open branches were like a huge umbrella sheltering the entire yard under its shade. The courtyard door was open, and under the big tree lay an old man with closed eyes on a rocking chair. The chair was steadily rocking back and forth, making creaking sounds. A gentle breeze blew, and a slightly yellowish leaf slowly floated down. Just as it was about to land on the old man's face, it suddenly stopped. At the same time, the constantly rocking chair that had been making creaking noises stopped moving as well. The old man slowly opened his eyes and looked at the floating yellowish leaf above his head. He softly said, "The fallen leaf only knows it's autumn. Is it autumn that gives life to the leaves, or the leaves that fall because of autumn?" No one responded to him, and the only reply he got was a gentle breeze, which slowly carried away the floating leaf. "Dean, I've brought them here." Upon arriving outside the courtyard, Chen Tianyun didn't enter immediately but respectfully cupped his hands and spoke. "Come in." The old man's calm and aged voice came from inside, and only then did Chen Tianyun bring Lu Yun and Xiao Chen into the courtyard. Curious, Lu Yun looked at the old man lying on the rocking chair and wondered, is this Yi Xingchen, the dean of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy? Yi Xingchen was lying on the rocking chair, and it was difficult to see his full figure, but one could tell from his wrinkled face that he was an experienced old man. "Tianyun, you're still as efficient as ever in your work." Yi Xingchen sighed, helplessly, then slowly got up from the rocking chair. His movements seemed very slow. When his gaze landed on Lu Yun and Xiao Chun, his once lifeless eyes shone with gentleness, their muddy but warm appearance giving off a sense of peacefulness and calm. They silently told others that he was just an ordinary old man. Chun Tianyan introduced Xiao Chun and Lu Yun to Yi Xingchen in turn. "Dean, these are Xiao Chun and Lu Yun." Xiao Chun pays his respects to the dean. Lu Yun pays his respects to the dean. Xiao Chun and Lu Yun both courteously greeted Yi Xingchen. They tried their best to display their maturity and steadiness, but their true nature was exposed under the old man's muddy yet piercing gaze. "Ha ha, you two don't have to be so formal. Just treat me like an ordinary old man." Yi Xingchen looked at Lu Yun and Xiao Chun with a smile, finding them more and more satisfying. "Before meeting you, I had already seen by Hao Xuan. He was the first disciple of this cohort to pass the 8th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower, with a good foundation and great potential, truly living up to his level 6 innate talent." Lu Yun and Xiao Chun didn't know what Yi Xingchen was trying to express and didn't reply, opting to remain silent instead. Yi Xingchen took note of their reactions, giving another slight smile. "Actually, both of your performances have far exceeded the expectations of myself and the Martial Academy. Among the disciples of past generations, the fastest time a level 5 talent like you two took to pass the 8th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower was 5 months. However, both of you reduced that record by 2 whole months. It must be said that your potential far surpasses your own talent." Lu Yun and Xiao Chun continued to remain silent, patiently waiting for the other party to continue. The Martial Academy, as a cradle for cultivating strong martial artists for the court, has always been generous towards disciples with potential and talent. Your performance in the Myriad Phenomena Tower proves that your potential exceeds the limits of level 5 talent. You're not even worse off compared to those level 6 talented disciples. Summoning you two this time is to give you a bottom line, or perhaps set a goal. If you can pass the 10th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower within half a year, not only will you be directly promoted to be disciples of the Star Palace, but also each of you will be rewarded with a superior true artifact. Upon hearing this, Lu Yun's and Xiao Chen's breaths both hitched, their eyes lighting up with blazing desire. As long as they could pass the 10th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower within half a year, they would be rewarded with a true artifact, and a superior one at that. Chapter 65. Chapter 65. Chapter 65. Second floor of the book. Chapter 65. Chapter 65. Second floor of the book collection pavilion. Weapons below true artifacts are not graded and are all considered ordinary weapons. From kitchen knives to treasured swords that could easily slice iron, all are ordinary weapons. The tiger-head broadsaber Lu Yun currently uses is a top-quality ordinary weapon, capable of carrying powerful, pure yang aura and killing third-rank demon beasts without breaking. However, even if the tiger-head broadsaber is a top-tier ordinary weapon, it still has its limits. B0XO. Once Lu Yun enters the true Qi realm and refines his aggressive aura a few times or engages in several battles, the broadsaber will eventually break. True artifacts, on the other hand, are different. Not only can they carry true Qi, but they can also carry a higher level of true origin. Now, the elder with the highest status in the Flying Spirit Martial Academy personally promised to reward them with a superior true artifact if they can pass the 10th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower within half a year. This is a huge temptation for Lu Yun and Xiao Chun, touching the tiger-head broadsaber on his back. A determined look appeared in Lu Yun's eyes. If he wasn't afraid of causing too much commotion, he would even want to go back to the Myriad Phenomena Tower immediately and break through the 10th floor. What do you think? You two have confidence? Yi Xingchen showed a kind smile on his experienced face. We the disciples will certainly do our best. Lu Yun and Xiao Chen bowed their fists at the same time. Yi Xingchen smiled and nodded, then reached out to stroke his grizzled beard. His eyes, filled with vicissitude, looked at the distant horizon, seemingly gazing at the stars across the sky. Knowing the grand from the humble, seeing a falling leaf, and knowing the years are ending. I'm getting old, getting old. Then he remained silent and continued to gaze into the depths of the sky. Dean, we will take our leave first, Chen Tianyun said respectfully, then left with Lu Yun and Xiao Chun. As soon as they stepped out of the door, the wooden rocking chair started to creak as it moved within the courtyard, gradually dissipating in all directions. After leaving the dean's cultivation place through the secluded path, Chen Tianyun said solemnly, although the dean may look old, when it comes to strength, no one in the Spirit Martial Prefecture can beat him. Even when looking at the entire Ling province, there are only a few people who can barely compete with the dean. Chen Tianyun said all this with a proud expression on his face. May first ask what realm the dean is in. Lu Yun suddenly asked. Chen Tianyun just glanced at Lu Yun lightly, shook his head slightly, and didn't answer. Feeling confused, Lu Yun didn't continue to ask any further. Perhaps seeing potential in Lu Yun, Chen Tianyun eventually gave him a hint. The dean is now over 200 years old. Upon hearing this, Lu Yun didn't react at first. Only after a dozen breaths did a shocked expression appear on his face. Martial artists in the true Qi realm and below have a lifespan not much longer than ordinary people, with a maximum limit of 100 years. Only by advancing to the transforming origin realm and converting true Qi into true origin could one cleanse the body and increase their life expectancy. The transforming origin realm would add 10 years to one's life expectancy. After advancing to the origin fluid realm, the Qi transforms into liquid and the true origin becomes more refined and powerful. Cleansing the body would add another 20 years to one's life expectancy. In the golden body realm, by practicing cultivation techniques to break through the mortal body and attain an indestructible gold body, the Bodhis functions undergo a transformation, further adding 50 years to one's life expectancy. And the dean, who's already old and declining, has lived for more than 200 years. Just a few days later, the news of 2 new disciples clearing the 8th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower spread throughout the Flying Spirit Martial Academy like wildfire. Lu Yun and Xiao Chen became famous new disciples, following by Hao Xuan, who had already made a name for themselves at the Flying Spirit Martial Academy. There were tens of thousands of disciples in the Flying Spirit Martial Academy, which was vast in size. Disciples who were well known throughout the Flying Spirit Martial Academy were either powerful individuals who had left their names on the Myriad Phenomena Jade Wall or geniuses like Bai Haoxuan, who had an innate talent of level 6. It was rare, if not impossible, to find someone like Lu Yun and Xiao Chun who had made a name for themselves with level 5 innate talents. When their fellow level 5 disciples who entered the academy around the same time heard the news, they were all astounded. Clearing the 7th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower was already insane, and that Lu Yun and Xiao Chen could pass the 6th, 7th, and 8th floors in one fell swoop was just monstrous. Nevertheless, they did not feel jealousy but only envy and boundless motivation. When the gap between their rivals and themselves was small, others would be jealous, but when the gap was large enough, jealousy would turn into envy. Within 3 months of entering the academy, Lu Yun and Xiao Chun, who had cleared the 8th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower, had completely outpaced their fellow level 5 disciples and became someone they looked up to. So when they heard that Lu Yun and Xiao Chun had cleared the 8th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower, they were excited and couldn't help but strive to catch up. We all have level 5 innate talents. If Xiao Chun and Lu Yun can clear the 8th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower in just 3 months, then Wang Teng refused to believe that I can't clear the 7th floor. From the elite disciple courtyard, number 3013, a purple-robed youth with an extraordinary demeanor walked out, heading straight for the Myriad Phenomena Tower. Humph, it's been a while since one last went to the Myriad Phenomena Tower. Today, you'll see what's so great about Ma Yunfei that allows him to call himself the second person among the new disciples. At the same time, in the living area for ordinary disciples, inside a room, crack, dressed in luxurious clothes, looking like a refined gentleman, Mu Qingyun crushed the jade cup in his hand as a trace of cruelty flashed across his handsome face. Damn, why is it that you, a mere young master from a small manor, can surpass me and even stand out in such a talent-filled place like the Martial Academy? A young man sitting opposite him hurriedly said, Qingyun, you mustn't get upset. Lu Yun's not the same as he was before. Not only is he powerful, but he's also valued by the higher-ups of the academy. If you offend him, even the families and forces behind you won't end up well. Mu Qingyun subtly withdrew the cruelty from his face, replacing it with helplessness. I purely envy Lu Yun. Why is it that he has no family or resources, and yet he's been able to smoothly progress with ever-growing strength? Now, he's even cleared the 8th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower, becoming a person of great significance in flying Spirit Martial Academy, and even the entire Spirit Martial Prefecture. And one Mu Qingyun, even with the full backing and support of my family's resources, still linger at the beginning of the Meridian Passage realm, barely able to pass even the 2nd floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower. The young man in front of him shook his head with a complicated expression. This has already gone beyond whether you have the support of your family or resources. There are so many disciples in the academy, including those from great aristocratic families, in the Spirit Martial Prefecture. They are barely known in an academy filled with talents. However, Lu Yun can compete with level 6 talent by Hao Xuan. This proves something, if you think about it. Mu Qingyun shook his head slightly with a bitter smile. I know what you're saying, and I'm fully aware of it, but I saw his humiliation and weakness with my own eyes. Hearing this, the young man sitting opposite him quickly interrupted, You must never do anything beyond your abilities. Don't worry. I'm not that foolish. Instead, you'll find a time to apologize to Lu Yun and beg for his forgiveness. As long as you say so, I'm relieved. You don't have to befriend someone as talented as Lu Yun, but you absolutely must not offend him. At this time, Lu Yun had already come to the book collection pavilion and headed straight to the 2nd floor. The 1st floor of the book collection pavilion was free to enter, while the 2nd floor housed superior martial arts, which required spending 10 contribution points to access. For someone like Lu Yun, who already possessed a considerable amount of contribution points, this was naturally not worth mentioning. Chapter 66, Chapter 66, Chapter 66, Mu Qingyun's visit. Chapter 66, Chapter 66, Mu Qingyun's visit compared to the 1st floor. There were far fewer people on the 2nd floor of the book collection pavilion. The martial arts on the 2nd floor were all top-notch, with power and value surpassing those of first-class martial arts. Those top-notch combat martial arts and body techniques also consumed much more true qi than first-class martial arts, and even if an ordinary Meridian Passage realm martial artist successfully cultivated them, the consumption would be very high. Therefore, only martial artists above the true qi realm would choose to cultivate top-notch martial arts. In the Martial Academy, the number of disciples in the true qi realm and Meridian Passage realm were roughly the same. B0XO. However, the disciples who were able to advance to the true qi realm had been in the Martial Academy for a long time and had already cultivated suitable martial arts. Top-notch martial arts were valuable and difficult to cultivate, so most disciples would only cultivate 1 or 2. Lu Yun went directly to the section on body techniques. he could still only see the names and introductions of the martial arts. Ripple step. Based on the 64 hexagrams of the 8 diagrams, the cultivator follows a specific sequence of hexagram directions from the first step to the last, completing a full circle. This body technique is subtle and unpredictable. Wind god step. With the cultivation of this body technique, the body becomes light and nimble, and one can move silently and unseen, like the wind god descending upon the world. 100 changes divine movement. When cultivated to perfection, one can travel thousands of miles in a day. In battle, the body becomes as flexible as a loach, able to move effortlessly between powerful opponents without a scratch. Since Lu Yun was not in a hurry, he carefully read each of them. Body techniques were different from other martial arts. Even if cultivated successfully, they would not increase one's strength as much as other combat martial arts. Additionally, their cultivation difficulty was not much different from other martial arts, so most people would not waste time cultivating body techniques. Lu Yun had the panel, so as long as he had enough energy points, he could quickly improve. However, this did not mean he would choose a body technique randomly. Only the one that suited him best would be the most effective. As expected from the Martial Academy's book collection pavilion, there were dozens of top-notch body techniques to choose from. After reviewing them all, Lu Yun hesitated between the Skylight Cloud Shadow Step and the Gale Thunder Flash Step. He liked both body techniques and found it difficult to choose between them for a moment. Although the Skylight Cloud Shadow Step is also quite good, the Gale Thunder Flash Step suits my combat style better. Lu Yun was not an indecisive person. On the contrary, he was very resolute and quickly made a decision. Having settled on a body technique, Lu Yun headed to the area for internal martial arts. The next stage, after reaching the peak of the Meridian Passage realm, was advancing to the True Qi realm and refining True Qi. Since his pure yang aura was now at perfection, and he had entered the peak of the Meridian Passage realm, it was time for him to choose a top-notch martial art to refine his aggressive aura. There were only about 10 martial arts for refining True Qi, but those collected by the Martial Academy's book collection pavilion were the absolute best of the best. Profound Water Refining Technique, Ferocious Fire Refining Technique, Longevity Refining Technique, Heavy Earth Refining Technique, Golden Sun Refining Technique, Cold Ice Refining Technique, and so on. Each refining technique had 9 refinements. In other words, as long as any refining technique was cultivated to perfection, True Qi could be refined 9 times. Moreover, each refining technique yielded different effects when refining True Qi. So, after the True Qi realm, the attributes of True Qi among different martial artists would begin to vary. Because Lu Yun had cultivated the pure yang aura, his True Qi was extremely young and aggressive, and he could only choose between the Ferocious Fire Refining Technique and the Golden Sun Refining Technique. The Golden Sun Refining Technique is more similar to the pure yang aura, so I'll choose that. Peak of the Meridian Passage realm, one can refine my True Qi now. When Lu Yun took out the Gale Thunder Flash Step and Golden Sun Refining Technique, the elder in charge of guarding the book collection pavilion glanced at him and nodded slightly. Top-notch martial arts originals are not allowed to be taken out of the book collection pavilion. Please wait a moment. The elder of the book collection pavilion put down 2 martial arts books, said a faint sentence, and walked inside. It only took him a dozen breaths of time before he reappeared with 2 gray-white booklets in his hand, the handwritten copies of Gale Thunder Flash Step and Golden Sun Refining Technique. Gale Thunder Flash Step costs 750 contribution points, and Golden Sun Refining Technique costs 1,000 contribution points. Also, these handwritten copies cannot be passed on or damaged. They must be returned within a month. Otherwise, you will face punishment, which may include expulsion from the Martial Academy and the revocation of your cultivation. The elder from the book collection pavilion spoke indifferently, seemingly not recognizing Lu Yun, the disciple who had become famous in the martial academy. Lu Yun responded, took out his identity token, and deducted 1,750 contribution points. With a heavy heart, he took his leave. Spending nearly half of his contribution points in one go, it would be a lie if Lu Yun wasn't feeling the pinch. This was just the beginning. 111 exchange for another sumi bag, and use the rest to exchange for pills. Lu Yun thought to himself. Having made the decision, Lu Yun quickened his pace and arrived at the weapon tower. Within 10 minutes, he left the weapon tower with a purple sumi bag on his waist, his contribution points decreasing by another 300. Afterward, he headed to the pill medicine building. Lu Yun's choice was still Meridian pills. Meridian pills cost 120 contribution points per bottle, and Lu Yun exchanged for 20 bottles. Originally, he was short of 5 contribution points, but after some haggling from Lu Yun, the result was self-explanatory. After one day of visiting the book collection pavilion, weapon tower, and pill medicine building, not a single one of his 4,000-plus contribution points remained. While Lu Yun felt heartache, he didn't regret it. He hurriedly left the pill medicine building and couldn't wait to go back and work on improving himself. In the cultivation room of his small courtyard, Lu Yun sat cross-legged, took out the Meridian pills from his sumi bag, and prepared to convert them into energy values. Knock, knock, knock. Suddenly, there came a knock on the door from outside. Who's that blind fool? Lu Yun frowned slightly, feeling unhappy in his heart, but he still went to open the door. Creak, the courtyard door opened, revealing a somewhat familiar face. It was Mu Qingyun, the one who had troubled him time and time again in the past. It's you, huh? What is it? Are you here to challenge me? Lu Yun's mouth curved into a mocking smile as he spoke in a taunting tone. He had no good feelings toward Mu Qingyun in the first place. Adding to the fact that this guy had disturbed him without reason, naturally, he wouldn't treat him kindly. Lu, my brother, there may have been some misunderstandings between us. Mu Qingyun's face was piled with smiles, appearing very bashful. If one didn't know him, they'd think he was a shy and reserved young man. Oh, really? Lu Yun leaned against the door, rubbing his chin with his right hand, and spoke thoughtfully. But don't we have quite a few misunderstandings? The first time was in Cloudwater County, and the second time was at the Myriad Phenomena Tower. In both instances, you initiated the trouble with me. Mu Qingyun revealed an extremely remorseful expression and said with a bitter smile, "Back then, I didn't know the height of the sky or the depth of the earth. Relying on my little talent and the lack of setbacks I encountered in Cloudwater County, I became arrogant and thought the world revolved around me. Because of that, I offended you, Brother Lu, and one truly shouldn't have. After entering the martial academy, one learned that there are people beyond people and skies beyond the sky. I regret my past actions immensely. Fortunately, one realized this early enough and deeply understood that Brother Lu's talent and abilities are 10 times better than mine. Even if I can't befriend you, I shouldn't have offended you. That's why I came to visit and clear up the misunderstandings from before." Mu Qingyun didn't hide it, directly stating his intentions. Lu Yun observed Mu Qingyun with great interest, trying to discern something from his face and expression. To his disappointment, all he saw on Mu Qingyun's face was a sincere smile. Chapter 67, Chapter 67, Chapter 67, Small Achievement in Gale, Chapter 67, Chapter 67, Small Achievement in Gale Thunder Flash Step Sincere. Lu Yun hardly believed it. What a way to deceive children. However, what does sincerity have to do with him? From the beginning to the end, he never took Mu Qingyun seriously at all. At most, he found him disgusting when he saw him, and when he didn't, he completely forgot that such a person ever existed. B0XO. There were only other real dragons in a true dragon's eyes. As for the little snake that once mocked him from afar, it was always disdainful. Whenever he found the little snake annoying, he could easily kill it with a single squeeze. Since it's just a little misunderstanding, it's no big deal. You can go now. Having said that, Lu Yun glanced at the opponent and pretended to close the door. Wait, Brother Lu, we are both from Cloudwater County. We may have our ups and downs, so I sincerely came to clear up the misunderstanding. Mu Qingyun squeezed into the doorway and took out a bottle of meridian pill from his breast pocket as he spoke. Brother Lu, this is my sincerity. Please accept it. Upon seeing the familiar porcelain bottle, Lu Yun's eyes instantly glinted, revealing a smile on his face. Haha, Brother Mu said so. If I don't accept it, it would be really hard to justify. Lu Yun exclaimed emotionally. Ha! One kind of regret that our misunderstanding was a bit too small. Ha! Brother Lu is really good at joking. This bottle of meridian pill has already consumed most of my cultivation resources. If the misunderstanding is bigger, I'm afraid 111 have to go bankrupt. Seeing that Lu Yun finally showed a genuine smile, Mu Qingyun also relaxed. My place is a bit shabby, and one have nothing to entertain you with, so one won't keep you. After taking the meridian pill, Lu Yun issued the order to see the guest off. All right, 111 visit Brother Lu again, when one have the chance. Mu Qingyun, quite sensible, left after saying that. Once he completely disappeared from Lu Yun's sight, the smile on his face instantly disappeared, replaced by a cold and murderous look in his eyes. Lu Yun, sooner or later, 111 take back everything I've lost 10 times, even 100 times more. In the past, all he had lost was his sense of superiority. Now he had lost his cultivation resources and even his dignity. Taking one last distant glance, Mu Qingyun resolutely turned around and left. If you really wanted to clear up the misunderstanding with me, it means you are a sensible person. If you thought you could dispel my worries with just one bottle of meridian pill, that would be interesting. Playing with the bottle of meridian pill in his hand, Lu Yun muttered to himself softly. After the brief interlude, Lu Yun returned to his room to start converting the meridian pills into energy value. 21 bottles, totaling 210 meridian pills. It would take some time to convert them all into energy value. All, if only one could refine them directly. Looking at the huge amount of meridian pills in front of him, Lu Yun deeply sighed. At first, he enjoyed taking the meridian pills, feeling like eating candy. But as he took more and more of them, he gradually developed an aversion to the pills. With an experimental attitude, Lu Yun activated his aggressive aura, wrapped a round and translucent meridian pill from his hand, and tried to refine it. +8 energy value. The sudden increase in energy value on the panel made Lu Yun startled. Soon after, a smile gradually bloomed across his face. Getting what I want, this panel is quite user-friendly. 5-star praise. Delighted, Lu Yun took all the meridian pills out, placed them in front of him, activated his aggressive aura, and began the refinement. In less than an hour, the 210 meridian pills had been completely refined by him, something unimaginable before. Accidentally discovering new features of the panel, his heartache from previously exhausting all contribution points instantly eased. Not needing to take the pill, being able to directly refine it into energy value, this discovery was very important to Lu Yun. Next, he opened the panel and looked at the information on it. Name: Lu Yun Faction, Flying Spirit Martial Academy. Martial Arts, Breaking Wind Saber Technique, Perfection, Unupgradable, Mix Origin Technique, Perceive Truth, Unupgradable, Pure Yang Aura, Perfection 5%. 7 Kill Saber Technique, Perfection 2%. Black Tiger Saber Technique, Great Accomplishment 13%. Innate Talent. Level 5, Martial Arts, Meridian Passage Realm Peak, 12 Meridians. Energy Value, 1680. It's time to upgrade the Pure Yang Aura and 7 Kill Saber Technique. No, these two consume a lot of energy value. I don't know if they can be upgraded to the highest realm. I need to upgrade the Gale Thunder Flash step to the small achievement level first. With my current aggressive aura, using the small achievement level Gale Thunder Flash step should be no problem. After pondering for a while, Lu Yun took out the Gale Thunder Flash step and began to study it. As his realm improved, so did his memory. After a short while, he had memorized all the mnemonics of the Gale Thunder Flash step. At the same time, the Gale Thunder Flash step pre-entry, words appeared on the martial arts section of the panel. By consuming 25 energy value, a memory suddenly appeared in Lu Yun's mind. In the memory, he followed the mnemonics of the Gale Thunder Flash step, slowly groping and starting to practice. After 10 days of practice, his agility and speed increased greatly, and the Gale Thunder Flash step was upgraded to the entry level. After absorbing the memory, Lu Yun sensed a change in his body, becoming lighter. At the same time, the progress of Gale Thunder Flash step on the panel was upgraded to entry level 1%. After consuming another 50 energy value, a new memory emerged in Lu Yun's mind. In the memory, after practicing the Gale Thunder Flash step to the entry level, he furthered his understanding of natural phenomena like wind and thunder with arduous practice for nearly a month. Finally, the Gale Thunder Flash step was upgraded to the small achievement level. As the memory was absorbed, Lu Yun felt even more sensitive to the wind. Even inside the room, he could feel the flow of the wind. Lu Yun stepped out of the small courtyard and instantly vanished from the spot with the agility of Gale Thunder Flash step. After leaving the living area of the elite disciples, Lu Yun fully unleashed the small achievement level Gale Thunder Flash step. His speed increased sharply, like riding the wind and thunder, quickly leaving the valley and arriving at the back mountain of Flying Spirit Martial Academy. Is this the small achievement level Gale Thunder Flash step? My speed is several times faster than before when one was at full throttle. The only drawback is the aggressive aura consumption. Half an hour later, from the valley where the elite disciples lived to the back mountain of the Martial Academy, his internal aggressive aura had been almost consumed by 10%. 10% of Lu Yun's aggressive aura was roughly equivalent to 7 or 8% of other martial artists of the same realm. This kind of consumption was terrifying. Only a freak like Lu Yun could handle it. No wonder the Martial Academy had such strict control over superior martial arts. As he used the Gale Thunder Flash step, Lu Yun felt his comprehension and control of it increase greatly, no longer as crude as it was at first. He had never been to the vast area of the back mountain. Lu Yun fully unleashed the Gale Thunder Flash step, shuttling through the dense forest. It seemed as if there were flashes of lightning beneath his feet, and the violent wind constantly burned around him, leaving a long tail of flame. Chapter 68, Chapter 68, Chapter 68, Encountering Meng Hongfei again. Chapter 68, Chapter 68, Encountering Meng Hongfei again. Perhaps it was due to his good mood. Lu Yun felt the sunlight on the back mountain to be extremely bright and warm. He moved with his steps, running liberally and unbounded, sprinting across. After passing through dense forests and crossing valleys, Lu Yun arrived at a small lake. Without any hesitation, he dashed forward without stopping. 1 foot landed on the surface of the lake, creating ripples that spread outwards, and the next step followed, creating more waves that rippled away. Just like that, Lu Yun ran at lightning speed across the lake surface. B0XO. Calm if someone had seen this, they would be incredibly astonished that someone could tread on the water as if it were flat ground. Only martial artists at the transforming origin realm and above could achieve this. Transforming origin realm martial artists have their true chi transformed into true origin, allowing them to control their bodies to a microscopic level, making it easy to tread on waves. As for Lu Yun, he was only at the peak of the Meridian Passage realm, and his current realm was 2 levels away from the transforming origin realm. Landing securely on the water's opposite side, Lu Yun turned back to look, surprise filling his face as Head unconsciously treaded across several dozen feet wide of the lake surface. It was simply incredible. Before, he had heard of powerful individuals using a single reed to cross a river. Now, without the aid of anything else, he could traverse several dozen feet of the lake's surface. Wouldn't that mean that now he was even more formidable than those legendary reed-crossing individuals? Lu Yun shook his head slightly. Crossing rivers with a single reed was a story from the previous world's novels. In this fantastical world he now occupied, according to his current understanding of it, once martial artists reached a certain stage of cultivation, they wouldn't exactly be able to soar on clouds or leap through the fog, but traveling through the sky or underground wouldn't be difficult. The two simply couldn't compare whatsoever. Although the Gale Thunder Flash step is important, my foundation is still aggressive aura and saber technique. Lu Yun scanned the surroundings, preparing to find a comfortable place to boost his pure yang aura and 7-kill saber technique. Just then, his ears suddenly twitched, and he faintly heard the sound of fighting in the distance, seemingly coming from the east side of the lake. Could it be that my luck is simply exploding, and one happened to encounter a legendary treasure-snatching murder? There was a glint in Lu Yun's eyes as he quietly sneaked towards the direction the sounds were coming from. Let's see if one can fish in troubled waters. Lu Yun hid himself in a large tree, gently pushing aside the dense foliage in front of him, his shining eyes spinning around. Fighting at the lakeside in the distance, 2 figures moved quickly, their swords and sabers clashing, creating a loud ringing noise. The powerful fighting fluctuations made the lake's surface turbulent and churning. Lu Yun's vision had greatly improved when he entered the inner martial realm, so he could clearly see even a mosquito a few hundred meters away. However, the 2 fighting individuals were extraordinarily fast, and coupled with the constant roaring of the air, even Lu Yun, with his excellent eyesight, couldn't make out their appearance for a while, only able to see the 2 shades, one purple and one white, flickering constantly. Nevertheless, judging from their figures, the 2 were not very old, most likely around 16 or 17 years old. But their strength was extremely formidable. From far away, Lu Yun could sense the strong auras emanating from them. Crescent Moon Cold Frost Slash. The white figure suddenly shouted. His sword light was like a crescent moon cutting across the sky, as if from a cold winter, sprinkling icy snowflake-like light. In a flash, the temperature plummeted. The powerful waves that were originally stirred up on the lake's surface suddenly solidified into clawed ice cones, whistling towards that distant purple figure. Startling swan annihilation. Slash. The purple-robed youth showed no fear whatsoever, wielding his saber with both hands. As the saber light burst forth, he slashed horizontally, the startling swan blade sweeping like a green dragon rising out of the sea. It conjured a fierce gale, carrying the invincible momentum of destroying everything, shattering the incoming ice cones. As their swords and sabers collided, the metallic clash echoed loudly, producing countless sparks as the sound pierced through the gold and cracked the stones. At the same time, the powerful saber chi and sword chi overflowed, causing the nearby lakeside vegetation to be reduced to splinters. After the 2 released their strongest strike, their figures flew apart. The distance between the purple-robed youth and Lu Yun's hiding place closed instantly. It's him. Upon seeing the handsome face of the purple-robed youth, Lu Yun finally recognized him. The purple-robed youth was none other than Meng Hongfei, who had presided over the assessments in Cloudwater County back then. Although several months had passed since then, that decisive saber strike that killed a transforming origin realm expert was still vivid in his memory. "Who's there? Show yourself." A chilly glint flashed in Meng Hongfei's eyes as he casually swung out a saber strike, sending out a several-feet-long saber light with powerful force towards the tree where Lu Yun was hiding. Boom! The tree crashed down, with the saber light continuing to push forward, cutting a long and deep ravine into the ground. Seeing the neat cut and the several-feet-deep ravine on the ground, Lu Yun couldn't help but gasp. That was close. If his reaction had been any slower, he would have met the same fate as the tree. Whoosh! Meng Hongfei's figure flashed, landing in front of Lu Yun. He spoke coldly. "Who are you? Why are you spying on our duel?" Caught red-handed, all Lu Yun could do was chuckle embarrassedly. This junior brother has quite the skill actually dodging that strike just now. It seems like it won't be long before the Star Palace gains yet another talented individual. The white-robed youth appeared beside Meng Hongfei at some point, looking at Lu Yun with interest, completely unconcerned about the previous encounter. This time, Lu Yun took a closer look at this youth, who was similarly talented in swordsmanship as Meng Hongfei, dressed in snow-white garments, with slender sword-like eyebrows. His eyes were as calm as a spring stream, feeling as gentle and refreshing as a breeze. With a slight smirk on his lips, the youth appeared carefree and flirtatious. Unlike Xiao Chun, this young martial artist didn't have the cold severity that the former possessed. The smile hanging on his lips made him more approachable. "My apologies to the two senior brothers. While I was practicing my movement technique, I accidentally wandered into this area and was attracted by the noise of your fight. I never intended to pry on your duel in secret." Lu Yun apologized with a clenched fist. "It's not a big deal. Brother Meng and I were dueling here just so we wouldn't be interrupted by others. Since you happened to come across us by accident, it can't be blamed on you," the white-robed youth said with a wave of his hand and a smile. Meng Hongfei carefully examined Lu Yun, and slowly the cold expression on his face began to fade. He spoke hesitantly. "Are you junior brother Lu Yun?" "Indeed, I am Lu Yun." Lu Yun smiled and said, "I didn't expect that after such a long time, Brother Meng would still remember me. I am truly honored." This was not flattery on Lu Yun's part. After entering the martial academy, his strength had rapidly increased, causing his height to grow considerably, and for much of the childishness to fade from his face. If someone wasn't familiar with him, they might not recognize him at all. Meng Hongfei spoke with curiosity. "Back in Cloudwater County, one predicted that you would make a name for yourself after entering the martial academy. But I never thought that not only would you make a name for yourself, but you'd also soar to the skies." "Ha ha, Brother Meng is joking." Lu Yun replied modestly, without the slightest hint of pride. "So you are Lu Yun, and you even know Brother Meng?" The white-robed youth, standing off to the side, seemed quite amazed. Apparently, he had also heard of Lu Yun's reputation during this time. Chapter 69, Chapter 69, Chapter 69, The Woman in White, Chapter 69, Chapter 69. The Woman in White. Last time I was on a mission in Cloudwater County, one took the opportunity to oversee the county's enrollment exam, and Lu Yun was one of the disciples who passed the exam there. Meng Hongfei explained casually, but he couldn't help but feel sentimental. One didn't realize that this was how you met, so you could be regarded as Lu Yun's guide. However, you seem quite incompetent as a guide, nearly injuring our junior brother. The young man in white looked at Meng Hongfei with amusement, causing the latter to blush instantly. B0XO. Calm Meng Hongfei, usually aloof, showing such an awkward demeanor, amused the young man even more, and he burst into laughter. Then the young man in white winked at Lu Yun and laughed. My name is Qin Yun, and you are Lu Yun. We both have Yun in our names. It appears we have quite a fate. We should get along well from now on. Haha, nice to meet you, senior brother Qin. In the face of such enthusiasm from Qin Yun, Lu Yun also felt a joy in his heart and greeted him with a smile. Meng Hongfei on the side, however, curled his lip disdainfully, saying arrogantly, if you're relating this with destiny, then there should be many fated ones in the martial academy. Oh, Brother Meng, are you going to continue the challenge? Well, the previous fight still doesn't have a winner. Let's continue. After saying that, the smile on Qin Yun's face faded. He became serious and made a gesture of drawing his sword. Hump! Meng Hongfei snorted coldly, crossed his arms, turned his face away disdainfully, showing an attitude that he couldn't be bothered. A breeze swept over the lake, causing ripples. Under the sunlight, the surface of the lake sparkled. Lu Yun stood aloof, hands crossed over his chest, quietly enjoying the show. He had accidentally witnessed the previous scene and could only watch covertly from a distance. But now he could watch the two compete openly. Whether it was Meng Hongfei or Qin Yun, he couldn't see through their realm. 3 months ago, Meng Hongfei was able to kill Transforming Origin realm martial artists. Even if he isn't in the Transforming Origin realm yet, he can't be far off now. Watching a battle between two people with such strength should provide some insights. At this moment, Meng Hongfei trembled and said with a strange expression, I just remembered an errand that I need to do. Let's postpone the fight for now. We will decide the winner on another day. After his words, he turned to Lu Yun and said, Junior brother Lu, we will catch up another day. With that, Meng Hongfei displayed his speed, turned into a white shadow, and quickly left. He left quickly, like he was running away. That's not his usual style. Looking at the vanishing residual image, Qin Yun stroked his chin, narrowed his eyes, and seemed to be lost in thought. As if sensing something, Qin Yun looked in the direction that Meng Hongfei had previously looked at. His body shivered suddenly. Then he also burst out with speed, chasing in the direction that Meng Hongfei had left. Junior brother Lu, keep practicing. I'm looking forward to a good fight with you. The sound was still spreading by the lake, but Qin Yun's figure had completely disappeared from Lu Yun's sight. What are these two up to, disappearing on a whim and running so fast? Are they showing off their speed in front of me? Lu Yun murmured and was about to leave when he suddenly sensed someone quickly approaching. It was a woman in white, with her long black hair draped naturally over her shoulders, with skin as white and smooth as white jade. Under the sunlight, she had a crystalline luster, her oval face and long eyelashes fluttering from time to time, with eyes that sparkled like crystals, were captivating. Seeing such a beautiful woman walking towards him, Lu Yun was somewhat puzzled and looked at her curiously. As for the woman, seeing only Lu Yun present, besides surprise, there was also irritation, although she did not show it. Little brother, are you alone here? The lady in white came over with a radiant smile on her face. Her eyes twinkled like they could speak. Her lips, vibrant red, and tidy teeth white as pearls, were indeed captivating. Hello, Mississippi. It's just me here. Lu Yun smiled shyly. Despite having killed many people with his own hands, his bright eyes were clear and intense, giving an impression of cleanliness and purity that made him appear naive and rustic. For a shy little boy, you seem to be lying, and that's not good. The lady in white giggled, her eyes sparkling, and her white face glowed, making her appear even more charming. Lu Yun scratched his head, looking wronged, and said, I'm not lying. I'm the only one here." Then he scanned the surroundings again to confirm he hadn't lied earlier. When he saw the woman in front of him, he quickly corrected himself. "Oh, one was wrong. There's now another person. That would be you." While he was speaking, his eyes rolled around, showing a clear look that naturally evoked trust and likability. However, in his heart he was thinking, Meng Hongfei and Qin Yun left in quick succession, as if escaping. Could it have something to do with this woman? Suddenly, the woman in white moved. Her white dress fluttered, and she seemed to teleport up close. Her pure, white arms swung a palm strike towards Lu Yun, carrying a faint scent. Lu Yun was startled. Why did a casual conversation turn into a fight? But his reflexes were swift, and he wasn't the type to get hit without fighting back. As soon as he took action, the previous innocence and simplicity vanished, replaced by a sharp edge and fierceness. Bang! A strong, aggressive aura exploded, causing the air to rumble. Lu Yun extended his right arm, drawing an elegant trace in the air. He gathered strength and aimed to grasp at the gleaming jade-like arm of hers. Just as he was about to touch it, a powerful force erupted, flinging Lu Yun backward, his feet scraping a long mark on the ground. Lu Yun never imagined that such a beautiful woman would be so powerful, and he was unable to withstand even a casual palm strike. After Lu Yun was blown away, the woman in white didn't continue to attack. She simply smoothed her long, black hair, revealing her white, elf-like ears, and let out a charming smile. "Little brother, you mustn't lie to me anymore. Although you are quite capable, you wouldn't be able to handle me if one fully attacked." Lu Yun looked at the lady in white and said innocently, "I really didn't lie. It's only the two of us here now." The woman in white said nothing, but just wore a radiant smile, making Lu Yun uncomfortable. Out of options and inferior in strength, he could only pluck up his courage to say, "If I lie, may first be struck by 5 thunders." The lady in white chuckled and swept her autumn water like eyes around. Then she said half-jokingly, "Don't tell me these signs of battle were caused by you alone. Besides, there are traces of sword chi here." "Oh, one see." Lu Yun responded with a delighted smile, then somewhat embarrassedly said, "Indeed, there were 2 people practicing their martial skills here before, but they have already left." Seeing the teasing smile on the woman's face, Lu Yun quickly added, "One swear one didn't lie to you. There really are just the 2 of us here now." Chapter 70, Chapter 70, Chapter 70. Pure Yang Aura Perceived Truth. Chapter 70, Chapter 70. Pure Yang Aura perceived truth. Seeing Lu Yun's submissive appearance, the woman in white gave a charming smile. Her watery eyes glittered, making her look enchanting. The weapons used by both of them were a saber and a sword, right? "Yes, I also know who they are, Meng Hongfei and Qin Yun. But just before you came, both of them quickly left, as if someone behind them was chasing them." Since it could no longer be concealed, Lu Yun simply admitted everything and sold Meng Hongfei and Qin Yun outright. "Very well. They deliberately hid from me." The woman in white stomped her foot angrily, her eyes like autumn water blinked, and her smooth jade face showed a hint of anger. Obviously, she was really getting angry this time. B0XO, a gentle breeze blew, and a few strands of her shiny black hair fell on her fair face, making her look very attractive. Lu Yun dared not look at her. He was already less powerful than her, and now she was getting angry. He didn't dare provoke her lightly. As one can see from Meng Hongfei and Qin Yun, who are more powerful than him, they run away from her as fast as rabbits when they sense her presence. As if recognizing someone was beside her, the woman in white quickly regained her composure. Her face was bright again, and she looked at Lu Yun and said, "My name is Qin Shuangxue. "What's your name, little brother?" "My name is Lu Yun." Lu Yun answered quite simply, but he secretly complained in his heart. Women were such fickle creatures. One moment they were cloudy, and the next they were completely cloudless. "Well, Lu Yun, you're a very clever little brother. I've remembered you." Qin Shuangxue gave a charming smile and left a graceful silhouette for Lu Yun before disappearing. She ran so fast. On the lakeside, the blue water rippled, the clouds rolled in the sky, and Lu Yun's figure, which had gradually become more upright, gave a leisurely smile. His handsome face exuded a steady temperament, completely devoid of his previous childishness and innocence. Youth is great. With a sigh, Lu Yun's figure moved slightly, heading north along the lakeside. The encounter with Meng Hongfei, Qin Yun, and Qin Shuangxue was indeed a small interlude. This also made Lu Yun realize a reality. His improvement was significant, but there was still a long way to go within the martial academy. Whether it was Meng Hongfei, Qin Yun, or Qin Shuangxue, the strength of any one of them was superior to his current self. With the Gale Thunder Flash step, Lu Yun's speed was very fast, not much slower than Meng Hongfei and the others. Tall trees, bushes, strange rocks, and flowers all retreated behind him as he passed. At some unknown time, Lu Yun had reached the top of an extremely high mountain. Standing on this high peak, the chill mountain wind brushed unimpeded against him. With the wind as the horn of the mountain, the pine forest sang a soft, rustling song, making Lu Yun feel the coldness of being at high altitude. But only by reaching the highest point can one enjoy the view of the smaller mountains below. Lu Yun looked out from afar to the nearby area. The four corners of the cliff on the mountaintop were steep. Strange pines formed a pavilion, with ancient vines entwining it. In the distance, the faint autumn mountains stretched out haphazardly, as if painted in ink. The continuous mountain range embedded in the horizon reflected a shimmering golden light under the sunset, making it extraordinarily magnificent, like a beautiful painting. Lu Yun closed his eyes, spread his arms, and enjoyed the cool breeze brushing against his face, basking in the last moment of sunset in the sky. It was a long time before the last ray of sunset disappeared completely from the horizon, and Lu Yun slowly opened his eyes, his gaze shining like stars and emitting a different kind of sharpness and edge. "It's time to upgrade my pure yang aura and 7-kill saber technique." Some time ago, he had raised his pure yang aura and 7-kill saber technique to the level of perfection, causing quite a sensation. If he upgraded them again, he had no idea what kind of commotion it would cause. To avoid causing unpredictable disturbances and attracting the attention of others, Lu Yun went on the run to find a suitable place to upgrade. There were very few people coming to the back mountain in the first place, and this was the most secluded place within it. This was the perfect place for him to improve his martial arts. With his previous experience, Lu Yun knew his bonus limits. Consume 20 energy value. Pure Yang Aura upgrade to perfection, 15%. Consume 20 energy value. Pure Yang Aura upgrade to perfection, 25%. Consume 20 energy value. Pure Yang Aura upgrade to perfection, 95%. Consume 20 energy value. Pure Yang Aura upgraded to reach profound, 3%. In the instant that his pure Yang Aura reached the reach profound realm, an extremely powerful force was born within his body. It immediately swept through his entire body, creating a thunderous rumble that caused surrounding stones to tumble and clouds to swirl. After half an hour, the thunderous rumbling finally ceased. A tough and broad meridian gradually took shape, with the vast and majestic pure Yang Aura flowing through it. The moment the 13th meridian was formed, the pure Yang Aura in Lu Yun's dantian suddenly increased by about 20%, surpassing the increase experienced after any previous meridian openings. What surprised Lu Yun was that this newly open meridian was not among the 12 main meridians of the human body. The 12 main meridians, also known as the 12 regular meridians, are divided into the hand 3 yin channels: hand Taiyin lung channel, hand Jiyin pericardium channel, hand Shaoyin heart channel, hand 3 yang channels: hand Yangming large intestine channel, hand Shaoyang Sanjiao channel, hand Taiyang small intestine channel, foot 3 yang channels, foot Yangming stomach channel, foot Shaoyang gallbladder channel, foot Taiyang bladder channel, and foot 3 yin channels, foot Taiyin spleen channel, foot Jiyin liver channel, foot Shaoyin kidney channel. The limit for a martial artist to open is 12 meridians. Now, when Lu Yun raised his pure yang aura to the reach profound realm, he actually broke the limit of 12 meridians and created a completely new meridian. Excited, Lu Yun opened his panel. Name: Lu Yun Force, Flying Spirit Martial Academy, Martial Arts, Breaking Wind Saber Technique, Perfection, Unupgradable, Mix Origin Technique, Perceive Truth, Unupgradable, Pure Yang Aura, Reach Profound 5%, 7 Kill Saber Technique, Perfection 2%, Black Tiger Saber Technique, Great Accomplishment 13%, Gale Thunder Flash Step, Small Achievement 1%. Innate Talent. Level 5, Martial Arts Realm. Meridian Passage Realm Peak, 13 meridians, 12 regular meridians, Renin Channel, Energy Value, 1405, Renin Channel. Seeing the change in the meridians on the panel, Lu Yun's expression became focused, thinking, could this be the Run channel among the 2 channels, Run and Do? In the Taoist cultivation system of his previous life, the Run channel was the sea of yin channels, and the Du channel was the sea of yang channels. If both the Run and Du channels are open, all meridians will be unblocked, not only improving one's cultivation progress by leaps and bounds, but also improving one's physique. Thinking of this, Lu Yun was immediately tempted. Without hesitation, he continued to upgrade. He still consumed 20 energy value at once, but the progress of the pure yang aura's cultivation only improved to Reach Profound, 9%. In other words, at the Reach Profound level of pure yang aura, it takes 5 energy value to improve 1 cultivation progress. This consumption was more than twice the amount consumed during the perfection stage. However, Lu Yun ignored the massive consumption due to his expectations for higher levels of pure yang aura. In the end, after continuously consuming 455 contribution points, Lu Yun's body suddenly shook. Chapter 71, Chapter 71, Chapter 71, Level 6 Innate Talent. Chapter 71, Chapter 71, Level 6 Innate Talent Boom. Intense booming sounds continuously resounded in the air. At the same time, a terrifying aura fluctuation was generated from Lu Yun's body, forming a nearly substantial field around him. Such a powerful aura that even Lu Yun was greatly shocked in his heart. As the pure yang aura rapidly increased and dispersed, a scorching heat emanated from his body and gradually spread in all directions. B0XO, calm centered around him. A silhouette gradually appeared, giving off the sensation of a large sun hanging over the cliff top, shining brightly. The pure yang aura was excessively yang, and under its rapid rise, Lu Yun was unable to completely control it, causing an overflow, as if being scorched by a large sun. He could clearly feel the rapid rise in temperature around him. If it weren't for the cold wind constantly blowing atop the cliff, he would be tormented by the horrendous heat, with his last disciple's clothing being destroyed. Several hours later, Lu Yun sat cross-legged atop the cliff's peak without moving, his mind immersed in the memories of digesting pure yang aura and elevating it from Reach Profound to Perceive Truth levels. After completely digesting the memories, he once again immersed his mind into his dantian. At this moment, his dantian was incredibly full, with pure yang aura continuously overflowing. within his 14 meridians. The massive aura was like huge rivers, roaring violently as if it could break through the constraints of his meridians at any moment, wreaking havoc in all directions. Feeling the vast and arrogant aura, Lu Yun gave a faint smile. Everything inside his body was under his control. If his body was a territory, he would be the supreme ruler of that territory. Even the powerful and cheeky pure Yang aura could not escape his grasp. With a slight movement of his mind, it seemed as if an unparalleled great force appeared, and the previously turbulent pure Yang aura immediately became docile, obediently flowing through his meridians, pouring into his dantian, and then returning to his meridians in a continuous cycle. Lu Yun slowly opened his eyes. By that time, the round moon in the sky had already quietly disappeared, with a sliver of white gradually emerging atop the distant mountains. Immediately after, he once again focused his mind, directing his attention to the panel. First, the martial arts column showed that the pure Yang aura had been upgraded to the perceived truth level and could not be further upgraded. Second, his innate talent had been directly upgraded from level 5 to level 6 without passing through the level 5 peak stage. Lu Yun speculated that for the panel, there was no difference between ordinary level 5 talents and peak level 5 talents, and there was no need to make a distinction. Of course, this was just Lu Yun's speculation. Next, his attention focused on the martial arts column. As expected, his realm was still at the peak of the Meridian Passage realm, but there was an additional meridian added called the Duyang Meridian. Running Duyang, I wonder what they have to do with the Ren and Du meridians. Lu Yun also didn't pay much attention, muttering to himself before shifting his focus to the energy levels. Only 930 energy points left. The pure Yang aura is too terrifying, consuming nearly 500 contribution points just to be upgraded from Reach Profound to Perceive Truth. While the frightening energy consumption made Lu Yun's heart ache, the sensation of his foundation becoming stronger and more terrifying erased all that heartache. The pure Yang aura has already been upgraded to its limit. Refining the aura once more will allow me to ascend to the true Qi realm. There's no need to rush into advancing to the true Qi realm. My main task now is to focus on the 7-kill saber technique and the black tiger saber technique. Only by advancing both aura and saber techniques simultaneously can I maximize my strength. Lu Yun silently pondered, weighing the pros and cons. He was now at the peak of the Meridian Passage realm, with a foundation far superior to any other Meridian Passage realm martial artist. Logically speaking, even if he were to advance to the true Qi realm now, the establishment of a solid foundation would easily help him complete the refinement of his aura 9 times. However, his validations that others wished for were not what Lu Yun valued. It was a task he planned to accomplish effortlessly. From his perspective, mastering a state of mind during the Meridian Passage realm was the most important step. Continue to upgrade the 7-kill saber technique. After the pure Yang aura advanced to the perceived truth realm, Lu Yun's physical body was nourished and greatly enhanced. Consume 30 energy points. 7-kill saber technique upgraded to perfection, 17%. Consume 30 energy points. 7-kill saber technique upgraded to perfection, 32%. Consume 7-kill saber technique upgraded to Reach Profound. Cannot be upgraded further. At the moment when the 7-kill saber technique reached its limit, a deep red killing intent emanated from the peak of the mountain, turning the surrounding area of Lu Yun within 100 feet into a cold, icy region. Meanwhile, Lu Yun's consciousness was immersed in a suddenly appearing memory. This memory was very lifelike. It was more like an immersive experience than a memory. In the memory, the battered ground made a muffled groan under the charge of countless iron hooves. Lu Yun's consciousness descended upon a young general, leading his remaining 3,000 soldiers to fight against nearly 10,000 enemies. The wind grew stronger, the snow fell harder, and the weather colder. The fierce north wind whipped snow at the soldiers, their faces and hands already numb as if their bones had frozen. Even the horses, which dared not neigh due to the cold, could only gallop through the accumulating snow to withstand the harsh wind. Long ago, the banner became tattered and torn, but still fluttered with the black flag amidst the gusty wind, never falling. Lu Yun was initially a little confused when he suddenly appeared on a battlefield so full of the scents and sights of war. The cold and heavy armor on the general's body, the undulating motion of the horses, and the sharp, shrill wind all contributed to the realism and gravity of the atmosphere. However, with the help of the system panel and memory, he quickly immersed himself in the role. However, he did not completely replace the consciousness of this general, nor control the body his consciousness descended upon. He was both the general and a bystander. Nonetheless, the general's perception, emotions, etc. were all transmitted to Lu Yun. The invincible Black Flag Army, all the generals and soldiers, follow me and kill the enemies. The general that Lu Yun was possessing raised a blood-stained, cold, and murderous saber and spoke in a heavy voice. With these words, the faces of the 3,000 remaining soldiers showed fearlessness and unwavering determination. To survive on the battlefield, one must embrace the determination to die. This was their willingness to die in order to live, and the secret to the Black Flag Army's record of attacking without fail and winning every battle. Behind them were the pursuing enemies, while ahead awaited the well-rested adversaries. Kill! The moment the saber was drawn, all the Black Flag Army soldiers exuded boldness and were utterly fearless of the enemies waiting ahead like a coiled dragon. For those who survive this battle, you will be promoted by 3 ranks. It's a promise I will personally make. With that said, Lu Yun leaped into the air from the galloping warhorse, exuding an overwhelming presence that momentarily shook all the warhorses and Black Flag Army soldiers behind him. Immediately after, the morale of all the Black Flag Army soldiers soared, and a fearless expression filled their faces. As long as we have the general, the Black Flag Army will fight 100 battles without dying. Kill. Chapter 72, Chapter 72, Chapter 72, Slaughter. Chapter 72, Chapter 72, Slaughter. I desire to ride the wind northward, snow falling on the imperial land like mats. I desire to tread clouds far and wide, facing a 1,000,000-strong army fearless of defeat. Amidst the wind and snow, Lu Yun charged fearlessly at the forefront of his troops. In this battle, one shall comprehend the slaughter conception and ascend to the status of Grandmaster. As he drew closer to the enemy's meticulously prepared army, Lu Yun's thoughts grew increasingly tranquil. Even against overwhelming odds, I can still kill countless enemies back and forth. Be 0XO. Calm as the leader of the undefeated Black Flag Army, he had already reached the limit of his current realm. As long as he could comprehend the slaughter conception, he could advance to become a Grandmaster and one of the world's top experts. By then, what could a vast army of 10,000 do? Through countless battles, he had refined his 7-kill saber technique to the extreme and had reached a bottleneck in strength. This time, surrounded and attacked by tens of thousands of soldiers, his killing intent was fully stimulated, and he faintly guessed a way to break through his limits and overcome the bottleneck. Now was the time to test that conjecture. If successful, he would be promoted to the ranks of Grandmasters, and no power on earth could ever subdue him again. If he failed, he would merely die. The 7-kill saber technique knows no fear in battle nor death. Fight to the madness and battle to the frenzy, slaying all enemies, and living on the edge of death. This is the true essence of the 7-kill saber technique. As time slowly passed, the distance to the enemy's army was growing closer, with his heart gradually becoming calm while comprehending the essence of the 7-kill saber technique. Lu Yun reached a state of mind as still as water. However, what's different is his aura and the killing intent around him were constantly surging, as if they could pierce through the clouds. At this moment, the earth shook, the wind and snow howled, and the neighing of war horses reached his ears. He saw numerous black dots appearing in the distance on the snow-covered wasteland. As he got closer, the black dots grew larger, revealing the formation of thousands of soldiers and horses. Mounted soldiers at the front, infantry at the back. During the charge, they could become like a raging torrent capable of tremendous power. When in a defensive formation, they resembled a towering fortress on the wasteland, solid and impassable. Kill. Seeing the enemy, the 3,000 Black Flag Army soldiers' morale surged, raising their long sabers in unison. The atmosphere intensified as they launched their fiercest charge. Although there were only 3,000 of them, their aura was extremely strong, seemingly capable of crushing any obstacle. In front of the massive army, a general clad in silver armor drew his treasured sword from his waist, and the glittering sword emitted bursts of sword chi, grinding the falling snowflakes into powder. He stared fixedly at the charging Black Flag Army and said in a deep voice, "Fellow soldiers, here, here." More than 10,000 soldiers answered simultaneously, their voices echoing across mountains and rivers, causing the flying snowflakes to melt instantly. Formed by the melting snow, the icy cold raindrops felt like sharp arrows as they struck their pitch-black, heavy armor. After this battle, there will be no more Black Flag Army. Kill! The murderous cry shook the heavens, alarming the clouds. As the 10,000-strong army charged, their terrifying momentum unfurled like a fierce, unparalleled torrent, violently colliding with the Black Flag Army's aura. In an instant, the mountains and rivers lamented, and the earth trembled. "They're here." A fierce smile appeared on Lu Yun's calm face. The next moment, with a sudden burst of speed, his body surged forward, carrying the long-brewing momentum towards the oncoming enemy army. Rip, the killing intent condensed into momentum, and the true chi condensed into a saber aura, swiftly slaying many of the enemy cavalry charging forward. Killing intent becomes momentum. Saber chi becomes aura. The silver armor general's face changed. Killing intent condensed into momentum. Saber chi coagulated into aura. The genius general of the Black Flag Army had actually reached the invincible power of a half-step grandmaster, and this information has never been leaked, hidden far too deeply. As he looked at the terrifying saber aura still pressing forward and killing everything around, he didn't dare to hesitate and immediately slashed out with his sword, the two powerful forces colliding in midair. Boom! The air exploded, freezing raindrops were crushed, and a powerful blast swept in all directions. Surrounding charging cavalry were forced back by the terrifying wave. Those who couldn't retreat in time directly flipped over with their horses, with no part of their body intact. Such incredible strength. Lu Yun looked at the silver armor general before him, his heart surging with battle intent. That strike just now, although not his full strength, had reached 90% of his power, but it was still easily blocked by the enemy, showing their great strength. Despite his surging battle intent, Lu Yun did not continue to tangle with the opponent and withdrew after his successful saber strike. His goal was originally to accumulate enough killing intent against the army, causing a qualitative change through quantitative change, ultimately breaking through the bottleneck of the 7-kill saber technique, comprehending the killing conception, advancing to the realm of the invincible grandmaster, and breaking the encirclement of the army. A half-step grandmaster was almost invincible within an army and hundreds or even thousands of soldiers in a killing array couldn't pose a threat to him. Lu Yun entered the battlefield as if no one else was there, every saber strike killing over a dozen people and horses. Damn! The silver-armored general was furious and immediately ordered, "This person is too strong. The army should try to avoid him. After killing these 3,000 Black Flag army, we will join forces to deal with him." As the words fell, he moved his figure, flew off his warhorse, and chased after Lu Yun. He was also helpless. The opponent, after all, was a half-step grandmaster and didn't hesitate to fight in the midst of ordinary soldiers. He angrily slashed out with his sword, and the terrifying sword light pierced and chopped down towards Lu Yun's back. But Lu Yun seemed to have anticipated the attack. His figure flashed, dodging the deadly strike, and retreated, killing in another direction. "As long as we delay some time, after my army annihilates the Black Flag army, we can form a military array and turn around to slay him." The silver-armored general coldly snorted and continued to pursue closely. Kill! Lu Yun was now completely immersed in the slaughter. After just a few slashes, hundreds of enemy soldiers had died under his blade. As the cold wind howled and chilled rain drizzled, the blade was stained with blood. The more he engaged in the battle, the deeper his understanding of the 7-kill saber technique. At the same time, a force of slaughter gradually condensed and grew, making Lu Yun even more excited. Whoosh! A terrifying sword light struck fiercely, the powerful force causing the air to scream. Lu Yun's eyebrows furrowed, and then quickly smoothed out again. Now is not the time. Lu Yun swung his saber backhandedly, clashing with the opponent's strike, and then using the powerful countershock force to fly back out, his figure rejoining the army. Whoosh! A long spear swept through the air, the powerful aura causing the air to surge and roar, and the protective true energy outside the body rippled. Although this power was not comparable to a half-step grandmaster, it was exceptionally strong. However, Lu Yun did not dodge this time, turning back to chop out with his saber, the fierce saber aura erupting and filling the startled general. It was too late to retreat. Launching an attack was the best defense. Using all his strength, he raised his spear horizontally to block. Boom! The saber aura fell. The spear was severed in half, and the man's head hit the ground. Like a mayfly shaking a tree, overestimating one's abilities. Coldly snorting, Lu Yun continued to swing his saber. Chapter 73, Chapter 73, Chapter 73, Artistic Conception. Chapter 73, Chapter 73, Artistic Conception. As expected, war was indeed a mill that devoured lives. After just one charge, only a few hundred remained of the 3,000 Black Flag army soldiers. The enemy forces, however, united from front to back, amounted to a staggering 20,000. In Lu Yun's view, his sight was filled with nothing but the enemy. As long as one stand, the Black Flag army will not perish. Whoosh! B0XO. Calm the saber swept across. A cold glint appeared, and dozens of long spears were broken. Then he flicked his sleeve, and both killing intent and true energy erupted. The attacking soldiers behind him were sent flying horizontally and collided with others, all of them ending up with shattered bones. As the Black Flag army fell one by one, more enemy forces surrounded him, adding immense pressure on his body. After slaughtering hundreds of them, numerous attacks landed on him, causing the protective true energy around him to dim considerably. As expected, without breaking through to the Grandmaster realm, there's not much that can be done against a large army. Once trapped within the enemy's battle array, the outcome will be even worse. There's not much time left for me. Lu Yun maintained a calm expression, and though there were many enemies before him, he did not despair. The more critical the situation, the calmer he needed to be. Such was the disposition he had cultivated for a long time. Now, the true qi within his dantian had already been consumed by more than half. However, compared to the nearly 20,000 enemy forces, this was insignificant. After killing dozens more, the tattered Black Flag Army's banner finally collapsed with a bang. The Black Flag Army is annihilated. The Black Flag Army is annihilated. Suddenly, a cry that resembled a mountain and an ocean resounded, shaking the endless snowy plains. As long as this general still stands, the Black Flag Army will never perish. But how could Lu Yun's voice match the roar of the tens of thousands of soldiers? His cry was soon drowned out. Similarly, his protective true energy shattered with a bang. This scene instantly boosted the morale of all enemy soldiers, because they understood that the protective true energy was a means employed by half-step grandmasters. As long as it was in place, their attacks would hardly be effective. Once the protective true energy was shattered, a half-step grandmaster's body would not be much stronger than theirs. He has broken his protective true energy. Kill him. Kill this half-step grandmaster, and be promoted to level 3. Kill. The battle cries were endless. As time passed bit by bit, Lu Yun had less than 10% of his true qi left and could no longer summon protective true energy. Since he could not defend, he had to attack. He had to kill until the enemy quivered in fear. Exterminate all. Slaughter in every direction, burning the ships and breaking the cauldron. Each move of the 7-kill saber technique was stronger than the last, and within moments, the number of souls under his blade increased by hundreds. Simultaneously, deeply trapped in the siege of thousands of enemies, as he constantly fought and killed, his comprehension of the 7-kill saber technique grew at a frightening speed. He had already completely mastered the first 3 layers of the 7-kill saber technique, reaching the realm of perfection. Now, he perfectly integrated these 3 moves, and his understanding of the 7-kill saber technique reached an incredibly profound level. After the 3rd layer of the 7-kill saber technique, one would exceed its limit, and no one had ever broken through. But today, Lu Yun felt that he was getting closer and closer to the last layer. This final layer had no techniques. Strictly speaking, it was a conception that pointed directly to the realm of the invincible Grandmaster. The slaughter conception, obtained by cultivating the 7-kill saber technique to its limit, continuously killing, breaking through the limit, and comprehending. Whoosh! With a horizontal sweep of the long saber, several fierce-looking soldiers with exposed killing intent were cut in half at the waist, blood splattering all over the ground. Immediately after, countless more attacks arrived. Kill. Lu Yun's heart was calm, reaching a state where he neither feared life nor dreaded death. He swung his long saber continuously, devouring one life after another. The 7-kill saber technique's 3 moves constantly flashed through his mind, one by one being displayed fluidly by his hands, as if he had practiced them thousands of times, gradually becoming part of his muscle memory. As the killing continued, his understanding of the first 3 moves of the 7-kill saber technique deepened more and more. The final move gradually took shape in his mind. No one knew that a slaughter conception was slowly brewing inside him. On the other side, the silver-armored general, seeing Lu Yun's protective true energy being broken, yet still relentlessly slaughtering his army like a killing machine, had a more and more solemn and austere expression on his face. You are, after all, a half-step grandmaster. If you were to die at the hands of an ordinary soldier, it would be a disgrace to the title. Very well, this general shall grant you a swift death. The sword, accompanied by powerful fluctuations of true qi, turned into an intense flash of sword light, like the first ray of light when the heavens and earth were created, instantly tearing through the clouds, breaking through layers of barriers, and descending upon the mortal world. At the critical moment, Lu Yun's mind suddenly emerged from the immersed state of killing intent just in time to see the terrifying sword light attack. Come on! Instead of retreating, he mobilized all the remaining true chi in his body and fused it with his gathered killing intent, slashing his long saber upward. Boom! The saber aura and sword light intertwined, and the sword and saber collided in an instant. The power of two half-step invincible grandmasters erupted fully at this moment, like collapsing mountains. A powerful storm swept out from the center of the two, and the surrounding war horses and soldiers were sent flying like grass and trees. The confrontation between half-step grandmasters exceeded the imagination of those soldiers. True chi burned, blood boiled, killing intent condensed. Not only did Lu Yun have killing intent, but the silver-armored general also possessed no weak killing intent. At this moment, the two of them disregarded everything and erupted with all their power. Boom! An earth-shattering momentum swept out, and both of them flew backward simultaneously. Kill! The long-nurtured killing intent in Lu Yun's heart gradually condensed. Especially after being attacked by the enemy just now, it had sublimated and started to sprout. Boom! A chill flashed in the eyes of the silver-armored general as he swung his sword to strike. The two forces collided, and a violent gale swept out, once again affecting the soldiers who thought they had run far enough away. Pooh! The powerful and raging force made the silver-armored general spew out a mouthful of blood. Lu Yun was not much better off. His internal organs were shifting, and his already severe injuries had worsened considerably. However, his expression grew more excited, for the seed of killing intent had finally germinated. With a do-or-die attack, his long saber slashed down, pushing the silver-armored general back. Slash again. The silver-armored general's heart turned cold, and he retreated once more. Slash, slash, slash. The silver-armored general kept retreating. Kill! Watching the retreating silver-armored general, Lu Yun's body burst forward, a faint blood glow emerging from his long saber, overpowering the terrifying saber aura. Kill! At this moment, the accumulated killing intent in Lu Yun's heart finally surpassed the peak and broke through the limit. Simultaneously, all understanding and realization of the 7-kill saber technique passed through his mind one by one, eventually converging on his long saber, and the earth-shattering strike was unleashed. This strike was wrapped in an endless killing intent. In Lu Yun's eyes, it seemed as if the heaven and earth had become a sea of blood, everything in the world stained by blood, and all living beings wailed and perished in that bloody world. This is the slaughter conception. After uttering this faint sentence, Lu Yun's consciousness finally left the opponent's body. Before his eyes, the golden armor and iron horses dissipated, the heaven and earth split apart, and his vision was completely occupied by a blood-colored saber glow. Chapter 74. Chapter 74. Chapter 74. Women are the biggest enemies. Chapter 74. Chapter 74. Women are the biggest enemies. When Lu Yun opened his eyes again, the sun was setting, covering mountains and fields in a sea of red. He felt recurring, throbbing pain and dizzy in his head, as if he had participated in the battle recorded in the memory. No wonder the conception is so hard to comprehend. It lasted an entire day, and even drained my spirit to such an extent. Focusing his attention, he did not immediately enter a state of recuperation, but instead called up the status panel with deep concentration. Name: Lu Yun B0XO. Comforce, Flying Spirit Martial Academy. Martial Arts, Breaking Wind Saber Technique, Perfection, No More Upgrades, Mix Origin Technique, Perceive Truth, No More Upgrades, Pure Yang Aura, Perceive Truth, No More Upgrades, 7-Kill Saber Technique, Reach Profound, No More Upgrades, Black Tiger Saber Technique, Great Accomplishment 13%. Gale Thunder Flash Step, Small Achievement 1%. Innate Talent. Level 6 Martial Arts, Meridian Passage Realm Peak, 14 meridians, 12 normal channels, Yin Channel, Duyang Meridian, Energy Value, 230 Conception, Slaughter Conception, First Rank 1%. In the panel, there's hardly any change in martial arts, except that the 7-kill saber technique has been upgraded to the Reach Profound level and cannot be further upgraded, indicating that the saber technique has reached its limit. Only 230 energy values are left. When his attention fell on the energy value, Lu Yun's body trembled slightly, his face full of shock and disbelief. After upgrading the pure Yang aura to perceive truth, there were more than 900 energy values left. The upgrade of the 7-kill saber technique from perfection to Reach Profound only consumed 200 energy values. Theoretically, there should be more than 700 energy values left. But now, the energy values have been reduced by about 500, driving Lu Yun almost insane. What are energy values? They are his direct guarantee for strength enhancement. But now, 500 energy values have disappeared out of nowhere. How could he not rage over it? Just as Lu Yun was about to go mad, his attention was suddenly caught by the last entry on the panel. Conception Slaughter Conception, First Rank 1%. Could it be that the lost energy values were due to the Slaughter Conception? If that's the case, it would be an unexpected gain. Slaughter Conception is the conception comprehended after refining the 7-kill saber technique to the extreme. If the disappearance of energy values is related to the Slaughter Conception, then energy values can likewise be used for upgrading. At this thought, Lu Yun's mind moved slightly, and he began to add points to the Slaughter Conception. After consuming 10 energy values, the bar of progress for the Slaughter Conception showed no change and remained at the first rank 1%. Without hesitation, Lu Yun continued to add points. After consuming 10 energy values, there was still no change. Lu Yun frowned slightly and continued to add points. After consuming 50 energy values, the progress bar of the Slaughter Conception finally changed, becoming first rank 2%. It seems that the previous loss of energy values was indeed due to the conception. Lu Yun contemplated in secret. Even though he understood the reason, he still couldn't suppress his shock. A total of 50 energy values only improved the Slaughter Conception by a single %. That is to say, to improve the Slaughter Conception to the second rank, at least 5,000 energy values would be needed. This consumption well exceeded his expectations. But it also indirectly showed the terror of the Slaughter Conception. It seems my understanding of conception is still too limited. I have to find time to visit the book collection pavilion to do more research. The Martial Academy's book collection pavilion not only has martial arts and cultivation techniques, but also a wide range of miscellaneous books. Having been in the Martial Academy for several months, Lu Yun had only been to the book collection pavilion twice. On both occasions, he left in a hurry after selecting his martial arts, without looking at other miscellaneous books. If it were a normal time, he would indeed feel that the miscellaneous books are of little use. Nothing is more important than adding points and improving strength. However, with the enhancement of his strength and the emergence of the Slaughter Conception, Lu Yun realized that he had lots of questions regarding martial arts. Doubts are the biggest taboo in martial arts. Having made the decision, Lu Yun quickly calmed his mind and completely entered into recuperation. Previously, integrating memories and personally experiencing the process of comprehending the Slaughter Conception used up a lot of his spiritual power, requiring time to recover. When the first ray of dawn came, Lu Yun woke up from his state of meditation. As legend has it, the air rising from the east with the sun is of purplish-red light, also known as purple energy coming from the east. Absorbing and refining this first strain of purple air would greatly benefit the cultivation. Lu Yun opened his mouth to absorb and refine. However, there was no movement. Could it be that the amount of aura stored in my body is so unbelievable, so that when this strain of purple aura enters my belly, it's like mud entering the sea, not causing any ripples? Shaking his head slightly, Lu Yun stood up, still at the same place, looking down. There were still steep cliffs, strange pines and ancient vines, slopes of autumn mountains crisscrossed, and the range of mountains in the distance under the morning sun. This time, everything was so clear, the beautiful scene seemed so close. Lu Yun knew that his vision had improved again, and his spiritual power had also greatly increased. This time the pure yang aura was upgraded to the perceived truth, the 7-kill saber technique upgraded to reach profound, the conception of slaughter formed. Such massive improvements have not only significantly increased his strength and essence, even physical strength, vision, and spiritual power have also been improved. Feeling the overall improvement, Lu Yun felt much more enlightened. After returning from the rear mountain, he saw many academy students walking in groups. They were either going on a mission together, going to the Myriad Phenomena Tower to test their improvement, or going to the county capital to have fun. Look, it's Lu Yun, junior brother Lu. Many academy students greeted warmly when they saw Lu Yun. Others who have only heard of Lu Yun's reputation and not seen him in person also gathered around to get a glimpse of the touted genius in the martial academy, and even the whole Spirit Martial Prefecture. If others treat me with a smile, one will reciprocate with a smile. This is Lu Yun's principle. Thus, a smile also appeared on Lu Yun's face, responding to everyone. Ah, junior brother Lu actually smiled at me. Seeing Lu Yun not being aloof and arrogant like other geniuses, the academy students were overjoyed when Lu Yun responded with a smile. They sighed as they watched Lu Yun leave. It turns out not all geniuses are cold. Some are gentle and approachable. Not only is junior brother Lu gentle, he is also good-looking. I wonder which lucky junior sister will get him in the future. Several female students even sighed, regretfully. Just regret that I was born too late, and you too old. After the transformation, Lu Yun's hearing improved, and he hadn't walked far. So all these comments reached his ears, startling him to accelerate his pace. Although he had the memories of more than 20 years in his previous life, he is still very young now. He has never even touched a girl's hand. Hearing such cheesy pickup lines and feeling the eyes on his back, he couldn't help but be a little flustered. After walking far away, Lu Yun finally regained his calmness. Indeed, women are the biggest enemies. I must be careful in the future. Chapter 75. Chapter 75. Chapter 75. Accepting the task. Chapter 75. Chapter 75. Accepting the task after returning to the Martial Academy, Lu Yun didn't go anywhere else. He went straight back to his courtyard. It was lunchtime, so Lu Yun first went to the cafeteria to satisfy his hunger. He hadn't eaten for several days, and after using a lot of energy, Lu Yun ate ferociously, devouring the portions of 5 people. Upon returning to his courtyard, he read the Golden Sun refining technique twice, memorizing it word for word in his mind, and the Golden Sun refining technique also appeared on his panel afterwards. Having done that, he headed straight to the book collection pavilion. B0XO. Calm just before reaching the book collection pavilion, Lu Yun stopped. Damn it, I think I've squandered all of my contribution points. Lu Yun touched his forehead, almost forgetting this in the midst of increasing his points these past few days. Should I go to the Myriad Phenomena Tower and give it a try? I can easily pass the 9th and 10th floors with my current strength. Shortly, Lu Yun killed this thought. Just a while ago, he had passed the 8th floor of Myriad Phenomena Tower, which made his reputation spread throughout the Atartial Academy. If he were to enter the 9th floor again in such a short time, it would not cause a sensation, but a shock instead. Lu Yun deeply understood the principle of a tall tree catches much wind, and naturally would not make such a rookie mistake. Even though I don't have any contribution points, I still have to go to the book collection pavilion. And so Lu Yun went to the book collection pavilion, returned the Gale Thunder Flash Step and Golden Sun refining technique he had exchanged last time, and then headed straight to the Internal Affairs Hall. The Task Hall is a part of the Internal Affairs Hall and is divided into demon slaying, demon extermination, and general areas. The demon slaying area is specifically for tasks related to hunting demon beasts. The demon extermination area is specifically for tasks related to eliminating and dealing with Morrijin sections. The general area is for the general daily affairs within the Martial Academy. Lu Yun's target was set squarely on the demon slaying area. The reason sects still exist within Morrijin is that they receive help from aristocratic families or court forces. Comparatively, he preferred dealing with demon beasts. Demon beasts were pure and the mortal enemy of humanity. In the demon beast area, there were several divided windows for task assignment and completion. Arriving at an unoccupied window, Lu Yun showed his identification token. Elite Disciple Lu Yun, here to take a task. Please, steward, introduce me to a suitable task. The steward inside the window was a middle-aged man, looking around 40 years old, with gentle eyes. He took Lu Yun's token, looked at it closely for a few seconds, and a smile appeared on his face. At the peak of the Meridian Passage realm, with a deep foundation, no wonder you passed the 8th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower within 3 months of entering the Martial Academy. As he spoke, he registered Lu Yun's name and casually returned the token to him. I have quite a few tasks suitable for you, but you'll have to choose which one you want. While speaking, the middle-aged steward handed a book to Lu Yun. Taking the book, Lu Yun began to browse. Page 1, it already had content on it. Task 1. In South Harvest Town of Green Cloud County, a demon beast has been causing havoc. More than a dozen Meridian Passage realm martial artists have perished at the hands of the demon beast, as well as countless other martial artists and civilians. It is predicted that this demon beast's strength is at the peak of 2nd rank. Task level, top yellow rank reward for completing the task, 800 contribution points. Turning to the 2nd page. Task 2. In North Field Town of Green Cloud County, a python has caused devastation, and 2 villages have been destroyed by it. It is predicted that this demon beast's strength is at the peak of 2nd rank. Task level, top yellow rank. Reward for completing the task, 800 contribution points. Turning to the 3rd page, it still had detailed information about tasks, and it was also a top yellow rank task. Even the task reward was the same, 800 contribution points. The 4th page remained the same. After reading it, Lu Yun's eyebrows slightly furrowed. What, you don't like these tasks? The middle-aged steward smiled, seeing Lu Yun finish browsing the entire book, but still not choosing a task. The steward guessed Lu Yun's thoughts, as he had seen this scene more than once. Those who had passed the 7th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower were disciples who had slain 2nd rank peak demon beasts, and not just one of them. As a result, they naturally did not think highly of 2nd rank peak demon beasts. When picking tasks, they were not attracted by top yellow rank tasks. In the eyes of the middle-aged steward, a genius like Lu Yun, who had passed the 8th floor of Myriad Phenomena Tower, must also look down on these yellow-rank tasks. His guess was not wrong, but this was not the primary reason Lu Yun frowned. Steward, are all the rewards for top yellow-rank tasks 800 contribution points? Last time, when he and Xiao Chun carried out their task, the strongest was a Meridian Passage Realm Peak martial artist, a top yellow-rank task, but the reward for completing the task was 1,000 contribution points. Later, because a third-rank demon beast and 2 true Chi realm martial artists appeared, the task level was raised to an ordinary black rank task, and Lu Yun and Xiao Chun each received another 1,000 contribution points. Here, the task level was the same as a top yellow rank task, but the task reward was significantly lower. The middle-aged steward was slightly startled, swallowing the prepared words and saying in an odd tone, "You could say yes or you could say no." "Oh, what do you mean?" "The reward for a top yellow rank task in the demon slaying area is 800 contribution points, but it's different for the top yellow rank tasks in the demon extermination area. Rewards there range between 800 and 1,500. Why are the rewards for the same level of tasks different? Even if they were different, it should be the rewards for the tasks in the demon slaying area that are higher. After all, the strength of a second rank peak demon beast is far stronger than a Meridian Passage realm peak martial artist. In addition, why are the rewards for top yellow rank tasks in the demon slaying area the same, while those in the demon extermination area are different?" Lu Yun asked the questions in his heart. By asking this, it shows that you're a smart kid, but not much. The middle-aged steward put on a mysterious air, first criticizing Lu Yun, and then patiently explaining. The reason the rewards for top yellow rank tasks in the demon slaying area are all 800 contribution points is that the strength and number of demon beasts have been investigated, and they are contained in a specific area not allowed to roam and continue causing harm. The tasks in the demon extermination area are different. Even the content of the tasks is only a rough idea. You need to find out for yourself, and the task level may change at any time during the journey, so the rewards are higher. Upon hearing this, Lu Yun nodded seriously. The tasks in the demon extermination area were, as he had suspected, full of danger and uncertainty. However, the tasks in the demon slaying area were somewhat unexpected to him. Since the demon beasts have already been investigated, why not directly eliminate them? Is it merely for the Martial Academy disciples to complete trial tasks? You have potential. The middle-aged steward smiled, slightly, very satisfied with Lu Yun. However, Lu Yun's next words once again caught him off guard. Chapter 76, Chapter 76, Chapter 76, Departure, Chapter 76, Chapter 76. Departure. Just as the middle-aged steward was smiling, Lu Yun spoke up. "Are there any black-rank tasks? These yellow-rank tasks seem too easy, and the rewards are just average." Even though the rewards for demon extermination tasks of the same rank were higher, Lu Yun still chose a demon-slaying task. It was for the sake of better safety. You think these tasks are too easy? B0XO. Calm. The middle-aged steward stared for a while, then sized up Lu Yun from head to toe, ensuring that he was indeed still at the peak of the Meridian Passage realm. Lu Yun, of course, noticed the other's doubt and concern, and immediately smiled. "Please rest assured, steward, am not some arrogant and conceited person. I choose a black-rank task because I'm confident in my own strength." Hearing this, the middle-aged steward finally nodded. However, he still warned once more, black-rank tasks target third-rank demon beasts. Even the weakest third-rank demon beast cannot be compared with second-rank peak demon beast, let alone those fake ones in the Myriad Phenomena Tower. "Are you sure you want to accept a black-rank task?" Lu Yun responded with a determined gaze. At this, the middle-aged steward could only sigh helplessly, then picked up another book from the window ledge, flipping through it for a while before closing it again. After a long while, he looked up at Lu Yun. "Black-rank tasks are different from yellow-rank tasks. There are far more of them, and many people accept them, always exceeding demand. I just checked, and there's one that's suitable for you. Please do tell." Demon beasts have been causing trouble in Cloudwater County. According to information received, there's only one demon beast there, which has just advanced to the third rank not long ago. It's considered an ordinary black rank task. Compared to other black rank tasks, I think this one is just right for you. Are you willing to accept it? Cloudwater County. An idea struck Lu Yun's mind. Cloudwater County was his hometown, and this would be a perfect opportunity to go back and visit. Without giving it much thought, he quickly accepted and continued to ask, "May I ask, can I accept multiple tasks at the same time?" One task only offered 800 contribution points, which was too little for him. Moreover, going there and back would take up a lot of time. As for an early third-rank demon beast, he didn't even take it seriously. The middle-aged steward looked at Lu Yun speechlessly. If he didn't know that the youth in front of him was a rising genius of the martial academy, he would want to scold him. Although he couldn't scold him, he still had to remind him, so as not to have such a genius develop an arrogant and complacent character, looking down upon everyone. Gathering his thoughts, he said, "Black rank tasks are generally accepted only by true Qi realm disciples. As for you, considering that you passed the 8th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower and can ensure your safety even if you cannot kill a real third-rank demon beast, we allow you to accept one. Furthermore, the Martial Academy has a rule that no matter what, a disciple can only accept one task per month. The main purpose of the tasks is to train disciples, hone their temperament and strength, rather than send them to their deaths." By the end, the middle-aged steward's tone was particularly somber and serious. Seeing that he was so insistent, Lu Yun was helpless. He really wanted to say that even a mid-third rank demon beast wouldn't be a threat, let alone an early third-rank one, which was just a slightly stronger sheep. But could he say that? Of course not. If he could say that, he'd rather go to the Myriad Phenomena Tower. Compared to earning contribution points through tasks, it was even easier at the Myriad Phenomena Tower. Take it or leave it. Seeing that Lu Yun didn't seem to be listening, the middle-aged steward's face darkened. "I'll take it, of course," Lu Yun hurriedly answered. After all, even a mosquito's leg counts as meat. Upon hearing this, the middle-aged steward's face finally lightened up a bit, and he recorded Lu Yun's and the task's information in the task register. When you've slain the demon beast, simply report back here, and don't worry about anything else. Someone will investigate and confirm. In addition, always remember one thing: your life is more important than the task. Thank you for the reminder, Steward. As Lu Yun left the task hall, he couldn't help but smile bitterly within. Hiding his true strength even for a single task made his life miserable. Moreover, the training mechanism of the Martial Academy was really poor. These disciples weren't allowed to fight the demon beasts now to hone their resilience and strong willpower. So how could they possibly become the pillars that Morijin required in the future? After mockingly scoffing at it in his heart, his depressed mood was finally relieved, returning to the elite disciple's residence. Instead of going back to his own room, he went directly to Duan Qing's. Having not a single tael of silver nor a contribution point, he needed to seek Duan Qing's help. He gently knocked on the door twice, and the round-faced Duan Qing opened it. Duan Qing was initially impatient, even a little angry, but his face broke into a smile when he saw it was Lu Yun. "Junior brother Lu, please come in." After taking their seats and sizing up Duan Qing, a puzzled look crossed Lu Yun's face. "Senior brother Duan, something bothering you?" Normally, Duan Qing's smile was very lascivious, but not this time. He was smiling reluctantly, and a faint shadow could be seen on his forehead. From this, it was clear that he was troubled, and it was rather complex too. Upon hearing the question, Duan Qing shook his head slightly and said with a smile, "It's nothing serious. One can handle it myself." Immediately afterward, his gaze fell on the tiger-head broadsaber behind Lu Yun. "Junior brother Lu, are you preparing to go out?" "I just took on a task, and am going out to gain some experience and broaden my horizons." At these words, Duan Qing immediately grew interested, as though the person with a wretched and depressed expression earlier wasn't him. "Oh, is the task for demon slaying or demon extermination?" Demon extermination tasks involve more complications, so I casually chose a demon slaying task. Duan Qing couldn't help but smile bitterly. "You're still too young, junior brother." Although demon extermination tasks are more complex, the rewards are higher. Upon completing one, you can not only gain more contribution points, but sometimes other gains too. If you're lucky, one task might be worth as much as several others. Hearing this, Lu Yun was first stunned, then a glimmer of light appeared in his eyes. The previous time he and Xiao Chun completed their tasks, they not only received the mission reward, but also got some taels of silver and 2 books of martial arts. In this regard, there seemed to be a lot of profit in demon extermination tasks. At the same time, he cursed himself for having such a narrow view on the matter. Seeing the changing expressions on Lu Yun's face, Duan Qing couldn't help but laugh. "Ha! It seems that junior brother is a smart one after all." Lu Yun sighed deeply. "Alas, it's just a pity that I learned too late." This might not necessarily be a bad thing. Junior brother Lu, your strength is formidable, but your task experience is limited. Undertaking a few demon-slaying tasks before progressing to demon extermination tasks would ensure a higher safety. Duan Qing continued, "Over the years, quite a few martial academy disciples have sacrificed themselves in tasks. Among them were disciples with great talent and strong abilities. The number of disciples who've died in demon-slaying tasks is far less than half of those who died in demon extermination tasks." Lu Yun nodded. This was very normal, as humans were more cunning and treacherous than demon beasts. After discussing with each other for a while, Lu Yun finally revealed his intentions. Duan Qing promptly and generously gave Lu Yun 500 taels of silver, the kind that didn't need to be repaid. After exchanging courtesies, Lu Yun took his leave. Chapter 77, Chapter 77, Chapter 77, Crisis approaches. Chapter 77, Chapter 77, Crisis approaches on the street. Merchants and soldiers come and go, bustling with activity. On the second floor of a luxurious restaurant, many people dressed in fancy clothes are either drinking together or engaging in animated conversation, their faces full of confidence and exuberant smiles. Near the window, a young man in a black robe is sitting with a pot of tea, several plates of meat dishes, and a large saber on the table. The young man in the black robe is enjoying the food on the table while admiring the scenery outside. Cloudwater County is still as bustling as ever, and the Soaring Dragon restaurant remains luxurious. Nothing has changed. One wonder if Cloud Creek Village has changed. B0XO. Calm Lu Yun stares at the crowded scene outside the window, feeling a mixture of emotions. Less than half a year has passed, which is just a short moment for Cloudwater County. For him, however, it seems like several years have gone by. From entering the realm of martial arts to the peak of the Meridian Passage realm, his true strength now surpasses that of most martial artists in the true Qi realm. Even in the entire Cloudwater County, he belongs to the most powerful group of people. Such an achievement, equal to the years of hard work of other geniuses, is an accomplishment that ordinary martial artists cannot achieve in their lifetime. Looking at the men and women around him, who are laughing and talking, Lu Yun feels even more emotional. If he hadn't obtained the panel, the life these people enjoy, dressed in fine clothes and living in luxury, would have been what he pursued in his whole life. But now, Lu Yun shakes his head, gathering his thoughts, comparing himself, a martial academy's heavenly pride, to the children of an aristocratic family in a small county is a degradation indeed. After finishing the last piece of meat, Lu Yun calls out loudly, "Waiter!" Guest, how can I help you? The waiter comes over quickly, with a smile on his face. How much is the bill? All right. The waiter smiles, checks the table number and the bill in his hand, then immediately says, Guest, your total consumption is 891 coins. I'll round it down for you to 890 coins. Just 3 plates of meat and a pot of tea cost almost 900 coins. Quite expensive. However, things are different now, and this amount of money is like a drizzle to Lu Yun. Putting 1 silver coin on the table, Lu Yun picks up his tiger head broadsaber and leaves. Guest, please wait, you are 110 coins short. The waiter quickly chases after him with the silver coin in hand. No need for change, consider it a tip for you. Lu Yun waves his hand, leaving without looking back. As he watches Lu Yun's figure disappear completely from sight, the waiter finally comes to his senses. Seeing the silver coin in his hand, a smile of delight gradually appears on his face. He looks younger than me and dresses ordinarily, but one didn't expect him to be so generous. After sighing, the waiter turns to attend to other guests, hoping to encounter more generous customers again. By this time, Lu Yun has left the building and is unaware of the waiter's thoughts. More than 100 coins mean nothing to him, so giving a tip is done on a whim. The Soaring Dragon restaurant is not only luxuriously decorated, but also provides attentive service. Lu Yun's horse is already fed and spirited when he comes downstairs. Go! He mounts the horse and gallops away. This purebred horse is not only fast, but also has incredible endurance. It costs Lu Yun more than 90 silver coins. With Lu Yun riding at a rapid pace, he leaves the county town and heads towards Spirit Creek Village. I can't wait to see the expressions on my elder brother and sister when they see me on the galloping horse's back. Lu Yun can't help but think of his elder brother Lu He and sister Lu Yu, unconsciously revealing a meaningful smile on his face. Go! Lu Yun speeds up again, like a gust of wind, driving towards the direction called hometown. As the sun sets in the west, it is evening. The afterglow of the sunset shines through the layers of leaves and is cast on the green-tiled houses, giving them a golden hue. Wisps of smoke rise from the chimney, gradually lengthening and dissipating under the gentle breeze. Several swallows with clipped tails swoop through the sky, eventually disappearing into the unevenly arranged courtyards. The little river in the east babbles, and the women washing clothes and children playing by the river start to return home. The whole of Spirit Creek Village is peaceful and quiet, like a paradise isolated from the world. At this moment, a group of riders comes galloping in, forcefully intruding into Spirit Creek Village and shattering the quiet tranquility. This group has nearly 100 people. Each of them holds a long saber in hand and bears a fierce expression. Judging from their assorted clothing, it is not hard to see that they are a gang of bandits. All residents of the Lu family village, roll over to me. The boisterous voice, magnified by true chi, reaches every corner of Spirit Creek Village. Enemies are invading. Spirit Creek Village instantly starts boiling. As one after another, the hunters of the village grab their weapons and run towards the village entrance. Xiao Yu, stay at home and don't come out no matter what happens. After giving his instructions, He picks up the long saber hanging outside the door and walks towards the village entrance with a grave expression. Eldest brother, be careful. Seeing the determined departing figure of Lu Yu can only remind him with concern. Spirit Creek Village, at the entrance. Tianfeng Stronghold's first leader, Lu Kai, burly and strong, stands tall with his saber, looking formidable. His pair of tiger-like eyes are full of contempt as they stare at the villagers of Spirit Creek Village. 80-odd men stand behind him, each vigorous and fierce, waving their long sabers in their hands, treating the villagers of Spirit Creek Village as lambs to be slaughtered. Facing the arrogant men of the Skywind stronghold, the hunting team members of Spirit Creek Village have veins bulging with anger and resentment, wishing they could fight them at that very moment. Lu Yang, quickly let that old fool Lu Songxing come out to meet me. Otherwise, it'll slaughter the whole Spirit Creek Village. Lu Kai looks down at the crowd from an elevated position, his gaze finally landing on a middle-aged man. This middle-aged man, named Lu Yang, is the captain of the Spirit Creek Village hunting team and has reached the initial stage of the Meridian Passage realm. But faced with the menacing aura of Skywind Stronghold's first leader, he can't muster the will to resist, as the gap between their strengths is too great. Ha ha! What wind blew the grand first leader Lu to our village? At this moment, Lu Songxing arrives from a distance, followed by Lu Tsang and Lu Meng. His eyes flash with uneasiness as he scans Lu Kai and the 80-strong men behind him. Obviously, Skywind Stronghold has sent its full force. Old man, I'm coming to your village this time to settle an old score with you. Lu Kai sits on his tall horse, holding his long saber carelessly, and speaks nonchalantly. Settle accounts. A hard-to-notice glint flashes through Lu Kangsheng's eyes as he smiles and says, Spirit Creek Village and Skywind Stronghold have always been like water and fire, not interfering with each other. What accounts do we have to settle? Humph, don't play dumb with me. My saber is not so easily deceived. Lu Songxing, still smiling, replies, This old man's memory is failing, so I'm sometimes confused. Please enlighten me, first leader. 4 months ago, you sent 3 kids to Cloudwater County. What happened on the road? You can't have forgotten so soon. As his words fall, a strong, murderous aura emanates from his body, causing the hunting team members to stagger. Chapter 78, Chapter 78, Chapter 78, Massacre the Village? Chapter 78, Chapter 78, Massacre the Village? Feeling the powerful aura from his opponent, Lu Kangsheng's face slightly changed. Meridian Passage Realm Peak. You've advanced to the Meridian Passage Realm Peak. Humph, you old man still have quite the insight. Lu Kai snorted coldly, swept his eyes over the crowd from Spirit Creek Village. Then he cruelly announced, Now, I'll give you 2 choices. First, Spirit Creek Village will be annihilated. B0XO. Second, compensate my Skywind stronghold with 30,000 taels of silver. Who? Upon hearing those words, every villager from Spirit Creek Village and the members of the hunting teams were horrified and angrily stared at the people from Skywind Stronghold. 30,000 taels of silver. That was practically demanding Spirit Creek Village's life. Lu Songxing blocked the eager villagers behind him. The first leader of Skywind Stronghold, Lu Kai had advanced to the peak of Meridian Passage Realm, and there were over 80 of his elites as supporters. If they got on their wrong side, Spirit Creek Village was in danger. However, he was somewhat puzzled. The few bandits he encountered on the road a while ago were already wiped out from the roots by him. The news definitely did not get out. How did Lu Kai find out? Regaining his composure, Lu Songxing calmly said, Our trip to Cloudwater County 4 months ago did not cross paths with anyone from Skywind Stronghold. First leader, Lu should not simply believe rumors of others. At this point, you old fools still want to deny it. Since it's like this, don't blame me for wiping out your village. Lu Kai's eyes showed contempt, suffused with murderous intent. Behind him, the over 80 elites from Skywind Stronghold also revealed killing intent. As long as the order was given by the first leader, they would ruthlessly attack. Seeing Lu Kai's unwavering determination, Lu Songxing no longer held any expectations. His usually smiling face sunk as he coldly said, Want 30,000 taels of silver? No way. As for wiping out the village, well, see if you have the power to do so. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Kangsheng's hunched figure suddenly straightened, and a powerful aura emanated from him, like a sleeping lion waking up after a long time. At the same time, Lu Tsang and Lu Meng, Lu Yang, one after another, released their strong aura, all at the Meridian Passage Realm cultivation level. You old fool hid well, but since you've offended Sky Wind Stronghold, there's only one outcome: death. As the words fell, he stomped his feet. His body instantly jumped from the horse back, his blade flickering coldly, making a chop. A simple chop created a thunderous booming sound, showing the terrifying power of his chop. Lu Tsangxing turned his hand. A hunting knife from one of his team members was drawn from the sheath in an instant and fell neatly into Lu Kangsheng's hand. With me here, Spirit Creek Village will not fall. Lu Kangsheng's eyes were sharp. He darted out like a tiger and engaged in battle with Lu Kai. The moment the two started fighting, the people of Sky Wind Stronghold also initiated their attacks and flew from their horses, charging towards Spirit Creek Village. Watching this situation, the villagers of Spirit Creek Village, who were observing from a distance, began to worry. With the old village head's age, would he be able to contend with the strong and healthy Lu Kai? Could the hunting team members handle so many elites from the Sky Wind Stronghold to protect Spirit Creek Village, to protect our brothers and sisters, elders, children, women, all the hunting team members and adults? Pick up your weapons and follow me to fight the enemy. Lu Tsang roared, his true chi circulating in his body, erupting with a formidable cultivation level. He leaped out. Lu Yang and Lu Meng, these two strong warriors of the initial stage of Meridian Passage realm, burst out at the same time, leading the hunting team members and other adults to kill towards the Sky Wind Stronghold elites. Among the members of the hunting team, Lu He, although young, his cultivation level had already reached the middle stage of Enter Martial Realm, extremely valiant. It wasn't long before he slaughtered a Sky Wind Stronghold elite, who was only at the initial stage of Enter Martial Realm. Kill. The 13-year-old Lu Tianhu had a fierce glint in his eyes as he charged towards the nearest person. Several months before, although he had not passed the Martial Academy assessment, he witnessed many geniuses and trained day and night after returning. Coupled with his level 2 innate talent, he had not only become an official martial artist, but was also only a step away from advancing to the middle stage of Enter Martial Realm. After fighting fiercely for several rounds, he slaughtered one of the elite members of Sky Wind Stronghold, his body half smeared with bright red blood. Though the hunting team members were brave, they were outnumbered by Sky Wind Stronghold, so they could only barely defend themselves. If the old village head could not gain an advantage, Spirit Creek Village would be in grave danger. After dozens of bouts, Lu Tsangxing gradually became fatigued and could only just barely hold his ground. Considering your old age and poor health, why set up a strong front? Wouldn't it be better to obediently hand over the 30,000 taels of silver? While launching a wild attack, Lu Kai did not forget to mock him. Humph! Lu Tsangxing just snorted and did not respond. After all, he was old. He had to save every bit of strength that he could. Sky Wind Stronghold was demanding the exorbitant amount of 30,000 taels of silver with an overwhelmingly fierce stance. It was clear even without thinking. Their real aim was to massacre the village. After having fought fiercely for more than a dozen rounds, Lu Kangsheng's breathing gradually became chaotic. Old man, you're doing well, actually being able to fight me for so long. But it's time for this to end. Lu Kai coldly grinned. His blade's radiance abruptly condensed. Then an even more powerful burst of true chi erupted. He shouted out loud, "Shocking thunder slash!" Bang! With a single sword slash, it was as if thunder had exploded. A strong blade light shot out from the blade immediately, bombarding heavily towards Lu Tsangxing. Squelch! The hunting knife in Lu Kangsheng's hand immediately broke at the sound, his body as if struck by lightning. Blood spurted violently, and he fell heavily on the ground. This scene made the pupils of everyone in Spirit Creek Village constrict, disbelief written all over their faces. Their strongest village chief was actually defeated like this. And what followed was worry. If the village chief is defeated, can the others possibly stand against the first leader of the Skywind stronghold? Can Spirit Creek Village survive? Hee, old man, it's time for you to die. Lu Kai grinned bloodthirstily, walked towards Lu Tsangxing, who was struggling to stand up with a large knife. If I, the old man, am sure to die, can the first leader fulfill one of my wishes? Let's hear it. Lu Kai ominously drew closer. How did you guys know about that matter? And why do you insist on destroying Spirit Creek Village? Lu Tsangxing once again spit out a mouthful of blood, his already aged face becoming deathly pale. Just as expected of an old geezer, you've managed to guess some clues. Lu Kai revealed a playful smile on his face. However, I'm afraid I can't satisfy this wish of yours. With that, he infused true qi into the long blade and slashed down at Lu Tsangxing. Stop hurting the village chief. Lu Tsang shouted loudly, burst forth at full speed, and came to the rescue. Humph, overestimating your abilities. Lu Kai turned back and casually sliced his blade. With a loud bang, Lu Tsang was forced back. Blood spurted from his mouth. The gap between the mid and peak stages of the Meridian Passage realm was fully exhibited at this moment. We're here. Don't even think about harming the village chief. Lu Meng and Lu Yang also stepped forward, launching simultaneous attacks on Lu Kai. Tiny pearls daring to contend with the sun and the moon. Lu Kai sneered disdainfully. With a blade and a palm, Lu Tsang and Lu Meng, who were in the early stage of the Meridian Passage realm, were also sent flying. Protect the village chief. The villagers of Spirit Creek Village, who were watching from afar, showed bloodshot eyes, rushing out of the village like moths to a flame, charging at Lu Kai. Weak ants are indeed weak, but their shouting really is annoying. He held the knife with both hands, his true qi burst forth, and the edge of the blade showed a chilling light. With this slash of mine, how many of you will be able to survive? As he finished speaking, he slashed down. The energy of the blade was vast, piercing the air, cutting through the ground, attacking the villagers of Spirit Creek Village. No! Lu Tsangxing cried out hoarsely, tears running down his old face. Ali! Lu Tsang struggled, trying to get up from the ground, but it had no effect at all. His wounds worsened instead. Is Spirit Creek Village really finished? Lu Meng slowly closed his eyes, suddenly remembering the little things in Spirit Creek Village, the little ones who called him Uncle Meng, and the companions who grew up with him. He was reluctant to let go of everything in Spirit Creek Village. He did not want Spirit Creek Village to disappear like this. He prayed in his heart that if there were gods, they would appear quickly and save everything. The terrifying slash, carrying immeasurable power, was getting all the more closer to those villagers of Spirit Creek Village who had no cultivation at all, but no gods appeared. There were no gods, only a figure descending from the sky. Chapter 79, Chapter 79, Chapter 79, one cut. Chapter 79, Chapter 79, one cut. As he approached Spirit Creek Village, Lu Yin felt increasingly anxious, unconsciously speeding up. He finally entered Spirit Creek Village before the sun set, gazing at the familiar village, the familiar creek, and the familiar land from afar. Lu Yun's breathing became rapid. Here were his relatives and acquaintances. It was the first place he had arrived in this world, and the first place to accept him, an outsider soul. One could say it was his root in this world. B0XO. Calm, but just as he arrived at the entrance of the village, he saw a scene that made him completely furious. The old village head was struggling painfully on the ground, eldest brother Lu, he was fighting in a bloodbath, and the villagers of Spirit Creek Village were about to fall under the blade of a martial artist at the peak of the Meridian Passage realm. All of this made Lu Yun's anger boil over, his eyes almost spewing fire. He unleashed his Gale Thunder Flash step, arriving just in time, and simultaneously slashed out with his saber, destroying the despairing attack in an instant. Then, Lu Yun's figure appeared before everyone. The not particularly tall figure seemed incredibly radiant and towering in that moment. The villagers of Spirit Creek Village were all stunned. At first, they had just wanted to fight for the village head with Lu Kai for any chance. But after Lu Kai's sword slash, they realized the gap between ordinary people and a martial artist at the peak of the Meridian Passage realm. A chasm so great that they couldn't possibly overcome it. Under that single strike, they had lost all power to resist, only helplessly awaiting the arrival of death. But unexpectedly, at the critical moment, that desperate strike was easily dispelled by someone. And the one who had dispelled that desperate strike, now holding a tiger head broadsaber, almost half a person tall, stood before them. The setting sun cast its last few rays on the village head, spreading a golden glow like shattered gold. Lu Yun held his sword, facing away from the crowd, his cold gaze firmly fixed on Lu Kai, completely indifferent, as if he was looking at a dead man. Under that terrifying stare, Lu Kai only felt his whole body shivering. And the look in Lu Yun's eyes made his soul tremble. Unable to face Lu Yun's gaze any longer, Lu Kai involuntarily clenched his long sword and took 2 steps back. He looked up at Lu Yun again, finally seeing his face clearly. How could it be a young man? Lu Kai couldn't help but mutter to himself, not to mention the fact that the other party had easily broken his powerful strike, but even more so, he had used such a gaze that he couldn't muster up the will to fight. Such a terrifying existence was merely a teenager. How could he not be shocked? Could my feeling be wrong? Lu Kai raised his eyes again, meeting the cold and indifferent gaze. At that instant, Lu Kai shuddered all over. Yes, it's that terrifying gaze. This young man is so frightening. Lu Kai's palms unconsciously began to sweat, his hands trembling slightly, and his body quivering as he took another 2 steps backward. Who are you? Lu Kai stuttered. The one who's going to kill you. As his words fell, Lu Yun moved, and the distance of more than 10 feet vanished instantly. At the same time, another strike arrived. The strike was extremely simple, as if it was meant for people of little importance, simple to the point of being completely random. But this simple and casual strike gave Lu Kai the sense of a life-and-death crisis. This strike is too powerful. I can't resist. Am going to die? This thought instantly appeared in Lu Kai's mind. What should I do? What should I do? I don't want to die. Lu Kai frantically screamed in his heart while pondering a way to save himself. But his opponent's speed was too fast, faster than his imagination, leaving him no time to think. No, I have a secret. In the final critical moment, Lu Kai instinctively shouted out these words. Plop! With a single slash, Lu Kai opened his eyes and saw a cold-faced youth standing in front of him, staring coldly at him. However, that wasn't his main focus. Am not dead, and there's no pain in my body. Did what one just say work? Just as he thought about it, he suddenly felt something was off. Why did it feel like his body was unbalanced, as if the left side was lighter? In an instant, his gaze shifted to the left side of his body. Without looking, his pupils contracted sharply when he did look, and at the same time, a strong pain was born in his mind, quickly spreading to various parts of his body. Ah! Lu Kai immediately hugged his left arm and screamed in pain. Sparing your life for now. Lu Yun crossed Lu Kai and instantly arrived at the battlefield where the hunting team members and Sky Wind Stronghold elites were fighting. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. It was like entering an uninhabited land. with corpses falling to the ground. Before long, not a single elite of Sky Wind stronghold remained. At this point, the hunting team members finally regained their senses and looked at the mysterious person who saved Spirit Creek Village. He wasn't tall, dressed in a black robe, and holding a tiger head broadsaber that was nearly half the height of his body, exuding killing intent that made people's blood run cold. Why does this person look familiar? Lu He and Lu Tianhu rubbed their eyes, then looked at each other and said in disbelief, "It looks like it's Lu Yun." "Yes, that's right, it's Xiao Yun." Lu He's voice suddenly rose, and his body trembled violently, his face filled with excitement. For the past few months, he and Lu Yu had been constantly worrying about Lu Yun. In their impression, Lu Yun had always been weak and needed care as a younger brother. They were afraid that he was not doing well outside and worried that he would be bullied. Lu Yu even often dreamed of Lu Yun in the middle of the night, waking up with tears streaming down his face. Now, they were finally reunited with their younger brother. The joy and excitement in Lu He's heart were indescribable. "It's really Lu Yun," Lu Tianhu muttered to himself, his pupils filled with incredulity and disbelief. After just 4 months of absence, not only had Lu Yun's appearance changed greatly, but even his strength had become so terrifying. Is that really Lu Yun? Lying on the ground, close to each other, Lu Tsang and Lu Meng looked at each other and asked with a hint of doubt. Killing Peak Meridian Passage realm martial artists like slaughtering dogs and chopping down dozens of Sky Wind stronghold elites like chopping wood. This mysterious powerhouse turned out to be Lu Yun, that young fellow with good talent. At this moment, their worldview and cognition were collapsing. Someone had grown from just becoming a martial artist to being able to slaughter Meridian Passage realm martial artists like dogs within just a few months. Was this just being a little talented? This was simply not human. It was a monster. Hee, Spirit Creek Village is finally safe. Seeing the Sky Wind stronghold people beheaded and Lu Kai's arms severed, the old village had finally breathed a long sigh of relief, then slowly closed his eyes. He was, after all, old, and his strength couldn't be brought out to even 70%. For the sake of Spirit Creek Village, he had fought nearly 100 moves with the strong and healthy Lu Kai, almost exhausting all his energy. Maintaining his will until now relied solely on a stubborn willpower. Village head. Everyone from Spirit Creek Village gathered around, and after a long time, someone said, "The village head is fine, he's just exhausted and seriously injured. He'll recover after some time." On the other side, Lu Yun walked up to Lu He, a smile appearing on his face, a never-before-seen smile. "Eldest brother." Chapter 80, Chapter 80, Chapter 80, the person behind the scenes. Chapter 80, Chapter 80, the person behind the scenes nighttime. The lamps were shining brightly in the Lu family's ancestral hall in Spirit Creek Village. With a severed arm, Lu Kai lay on the ground like an insect, his eyes bloodshot and his forehead covered in sweat. Under the lamp's light, he looked rather miserable. Sitting directly in front of him were the old village head Lu Tsangxing, deputy village chief Lu Tsang, hunting team captain Lu Yang, and Lu Meng, while Lu Yun quietly stood to the side. "Tell us, how did you know about the incident 4 months ago, and why do you want to destroy our Spirit Creek Village?" As Lu Tsang spoke, his eyes were cold and flashing with icy light. "B0XO. Come, like one said, can you spare my life?" Lu Kai struggled, trying to get up, but he was tied up and had lost an arm, making it impossible for him to do so. "You don't have the power to choose now." Lu Yang snorted coldly, his whole body filled with murderous intent. Lu Kai gave a disdainful glance at the others, then fixed his gaze on Lu Yun, who was standing by the side. "Speak, die swiftly, and without pain if you do, otherwise suffer a painful death." Lu Yun spoke succinctly. Lu Kai's expression dimmed slightly, but there wasn't much change in his face, as if he had expected this outcome. After a long silence, he slowly said, "As part of the deal, tell me who you are and what your cultivation level is." Spirit Creek Village was supposed to be wiped out, but in the critical moment, this young man in front of him interfered. This was something he couldn't figure out. Who was this young man? What did he have to do with Spirit Creek Village? And why did he help them? And what was his cultivation that just one look at him made him a Peak Meridian Passage realm cultivator? Lose all will to resist. Lu Kai wanted to know all this. He didn't want to die confused. In fact, not only did Lu Kai want to know Lu Yun's cultivation, but Lu Tsangxing, Lu Meng, and others also wanted to know it. At this moment, all their gazes were fixed on Lu Yun. Lu Yun at the peak of the Meridian Passage realm. Lu Yun said indifferently, his heartstrings undisturbed. "Impossible." Both Lu Kai and Lu Kangsheng's voices rang out simultaneously. Lu Tsang, Lu Yang, and Lu Meng also frowned slightly. Was there such a strong Peak Meridian Passage realm cultivator? All right, now it's your turn to confess. Lu Yun didn't have any intention to explain further. Lu Kai coughed and asked again. "Cough, cough. May first ask one last question. How many meridians have you opened up now?" "Don't push your luck." Lu Yun stepped forward, releasing a powerful aura that pressed down on Lu Kai, whose pupils dilated and almost choked under the pressure. "Tell me, or kill me." Lu Kai struggled with difficulty, squeezing out each word through the gaps between his teeth. Lu Yun frowned slightly, but soon relaxed, retracted his aura, and looked down at Lu Kai from above, his tone cold. "I've never been lenient with my enemies, and one don't want to do this again." No longer oppressed by the powerful aura, Lu Kai finally caught his breath. After taking a deep breath, he sneered, "Ha ha, as long as you satisfy my last wish, one will naturally tell you what you want to know." Lu Yun didn't look at Lu Kai again, but turned to glance at Lu Tsangxing and the others. His indifferent expression withdrew before speaking. There is a gap between Peak Meridian Passage realm and Peak Meridian Passage realm. Because of their foundations, talents, and martial arts, some people could only open 6 or 7 meridians, and they would already be at the Peak Meridian Passage realm. Those who achieve the Peak Meridian Passage realm by opening 6 or 7 meridians are ordinary martial artists. As for me, one have opened a few more meridians than the average martial artist. Barely 10, I guess. Hiss. Upon hearing that Lu Yun had opened 10 meridians, everyone in the ancestral hall gasped in shock. "I've only opened 1 meridian so far, and you've already opened 10, Lu Yun. How can anyone else even live?" Lu Meng couldn't help but want to howl at the sky. Lu Yang also looked at Lu Yun with an incredulous gaze, feeling it was unbelievable. He had practiced for decades, but ended up only opening 2 meridians. At this moment, Lu Tsang suddenly let out a sound and looked at Lu Tsangxing sitting next to him, curiously asking, "Old village head, aren't you at the peak of the Meridian Passage realm? How many meridians have you opened?" Upon hearing this, Lu Kangsheng's old face turned red, and he said with some embarrassment, "This old man's talent isn't good. I barely opened 6 meridians." Soon after, a smile bloomed on his aged face, causing a hint of redness to appear on his originally pale complexion. "Haha, although 1 a.m. the most ordinary peak of the Meridian Passage realm, one have no regrets being able to witness Lu Yun's rise in my lifetime." Lu Yun had cultivated for less than a year, reached the peak of the Meridian Passage realm, and opened 10 meridians. His future prospects were infinite. Spirit Creek Village, henceforth, was safe from danger. Thinking of this, Lu Tsangxing coughed a few times in excitement, nearly aggravating his wounds. Lu Kai's expression changed continuously. After confirming that Lu Yun was indeed only at the peak of the Meridian Passage realm, he suddenly burst into laughter. "Ha ha! I, Lu Kai, am the first leader of the Sky Wind Stronghold. One have roamed freely all my life, but I never thought that because of a moment's error, I would die here. How sad, how sad. Dying in my hands may not be your fortune, but it is not a tragedy. Lu Yun looked coldly at him, his eyes revealing no emotions. Lu Kai's smile slowly faded. His gaze fell on the ceiling as if lost in memories, and he began to speak. For Sky Wind Stronghold, living life on the edge is common practice. Death is normal, especially for those dead for several months. 2 days ago, someone suddenly came to my door, offered me 10,000 taels of silver to wipe out Spirit Creek Village, and informed me that Lu Sangxing was the one who slaughtered Sky Wind Stronghold 4 months ago. Lu Kangsheng's face tightened, and he asked, "Who was it?" A vicious expression emerged on Lu Kai's face, and he said with hatred, "That man wore a black robe with a silver mask, trying to conceal his identity. However, his physique, his voice, and his habitual movements completely betrayed him. It was Mu Ing Bo." With those words, Lu Kai closed his eyes and raised his neck to face his end. Swish! The long knife fell, and blood spattered everywhere. Muing Bua. Lu Yun looked puzzled. He didn't remember such a person. However, there seemed to be someone with the surname Mu. Lu Yun unconsciously thought of Mu Qingyun, who had personally visited him and given him a meridian pill. Muing Bua, isn't he the housekeeper of Breeze Mountain Villa? Lu Tsang asked in confusion. We have no interaction or grudges between Spirit Creek Village and Breeze Mountain Villa. Why would he want Sky Wind Stronghold to wipe out our village? Several others also looked worried, as Breeze Mountain Villa was far beyond comparison to Sky Wind Stronghold. Breeze Mountain Villa had not only spread its business throughout Cloudwater County and the surrounding counties, but also possessed formidable power. Its villa master, Mu Qingfeng, was a true Qi realm expert and one of the most powerful people in Cloudwater County. Though Lu Yun was strong, they believed that he couldn't possibly be a match for Mu Qingfeng. Is it possible that our Spirit Creek Village is ultimately doomed and will become history? Lu Yang felt an infinite sadness in his heart. Humph, don't talk about such demoralizing things. Lu Sangxing snorted coldly. Breeze Mountain Villa is different from Sky Wind Stronghold. They wouldn't dare to openly target us, Spirit Creek Village. Or else they would no longer want to have a foothold in Cloudwater County, or even within Morrijin territory. Lu Yang's face still showed worry. It's easy to avoid open attacks, but it's hard to guard against hidden ones. Even if they won't make a move themselves, they may still hire someone else to do it. While Lu Sangxing and the others were discussing, Lu Yun had already silently left the ancestral hall. Chapter 81, Chapter 81, Chapter 81. A visit to Breeze Mountain Villa. Chapter 81, Chapter 81. A visit to Breeze Mountain Villa. Breeze Mountain Villa is dozens of miles away from Spirit Creek Village, and Lu Yun went there overnight. Traveling swiftly, he finally arrived at the foot of Breeze Mountain Villa at midnight. At this point, it was late at night, and the bright moon in the sky quietly hid in the dense, dark clouds, making the whole world even darker and more silent. Lu Yun looked up at the Breeze Mountain Villa on the mountaintop, with dim lights flickering, his gaze calm. I really don't like killing, but you forced it on me. Since it's come to this, you can't blame me. B0XO. Calm with a push of his feet on the stirrup, the pure-blooded black horse neighed and galloped up the mountain path. When they reached halfway up the mountain, Lu Yun dismounted and silently made his way up to the top. Old Zhang, I'm a little sleepy. Take over here, for a while. In front of the gate of Breeze Mountain Villa, 2 armed guards lazily leaned against a red lacquered pillar each. You're sleepy? So am I. Why don't you take over first? Old Zhang, you're too kind. You've already forgotten the secret between us so quickly. In that case, I might as well let more people know tomorrow. The guard who had spoken earlier had a pair of dead fish eyes and laughed lewdly. At these words, the guard called old Zhang reluctantly said, all right, you take a nap first. They'll keep an eye on everything. Hee, that's more like it. The dead fish-eyed guard chuckled and sat on the ground, leaning his head against the red pillar, and slowly fell asleep. Old Zhang looked around, seeing no one, quietly took out a yellow book from his bosom and began reading it under the dim light. I was at the exciting part last time, but it was ruined by that dead fish-eyed fellow. This time I'm going to read it to my heart's content. In just a short while, the stimulating images in the book appeared before his eyes. Dancing dragon's tail, regretful dragon, flying dragon in the sky, dragon fights in the wild. Each time he saw a new pose, old Zhang's pupils grew larger, and his expression became more excited. While reading, blood unconsciously flowed from his nose. It seems I've had too many supplements lately. Old Zhang casually wiped the blood from his nose, his gaze continuing to rest on the images in the book. Engrossed. I never knew there were so many poses for fighting. I must find time to go to the city and practice with little Peach. After reading half of it, old Zhang stretched lazily, feeling full of energy, and even felt like he could perform the 7 in, 7 out if the conditions allowed. Was there wind just now? Old Zhang rubbed his eyes, looked left and right, but the rattan vines hanging from the wall didn't move at all. There's beauty in the book. One better continue reading. Then his attention was once again immersed in the images of the book. At this moment, the villa master's study was brightly lit. Mu Qingfeng stood with his hands behind his back, appreciating the calligraphy on the table. For vigorous and bold characters were written in ink on the calligraphy. Great goodness is like water. The ink was not yet dry, showing that it had been written not long ago. Next to Mu Qingfeng stood a thin middle-aged man, with one hand on his abdomen and the other behind his back. This man was the great manager of Breeze Mountain Villa, Mu Yingbua. The villa master's calligraphy is not only at the entry level, strong and vigorous, but also deep and profound in its meaning, transcending the mundane, with far-reaching intentions. As Mu Yingbua spoke, the hand on his abdomen waved from time to time, but it always maintained a certain rhythm, which had something to do with the rhythm of his speech. Calligraphy requires regular practice. One cannot slack off, otherwise it will become rusty over time. Mu Qingfeng shook his head and asked indifferently, "What about the matter Yuner entrusted to us?" Mu Yingba's eyes were cold and harsh, flashing ominously. The first leader of Skywind Stronghold, Lu Kai, has mobilized all the elite members of the Stronghold. There should be results tomorrow. A situation with no results means there will be changes, and changes lead to complications. Send someone to check it again. All right, first thing tomorrow morning, one will personally go to Spirit Creek Village. Mu Qingfeng picked up the teacup on the table, paused for a moment, and then nodded. That works too. As for Lu Kai, you handle it. Villa Master, rest assured, I have always been thorough in my work. Immediately afterward, Mu Yingbua took his leave. Just after stepping out, he suddenly felt a chill. Looking up, he saw a knife light coming towards him. The sound of thunder in the air was deafening as it approached dangerously close. Confronted by this sudden attack, Mu Yingba's mind went into momentary paralysis. By the time he reacted, he was absolutely horrified. Although he was a true Qi realm martial artist, he had no power to resist this attack. He didn't even have time to dodge. The blade went straight to his soul. Mu Yingba's severed head flew through the door gap, landing at Mu Qingfeng's feet, staining the tiger skin on the floor with blood. The entire process had only taken an instant. Looking at the severed head with its eyes wide open in terror, Mu Qingfeng felt a shiver run down his spine. This man on the ground was no ordinary person or martial artist. He was a true Qi realm powerhouse. In a place like Cloudwater County, a single stomp from him could make the entire county shake. Yet, he was killed in the blink of an eye. This was an absurd level of strength, compelling the health-cultivating Breeze Mountain Villa master to instantly lower his guard. Mu Qingfeng subconsciously reached for his waist, only to find his weapon absent. Glancing around, he spotted a long sword hanging in the corner of the room. He stumbled towards it, drawing it as he went. "May I ask which senior has come forward? Please show yourself." Clutching the long sword tightly, he surveyed the area outside the door, but saw nothing. Mu Qingfeng raised his voice. "This humble person has always been content with his lot and does not quarrel or fight with others. I do not know where one have offended the senior to warrant an attack today." Still, there was no reply, nor any sight of anyone. Just the biting cold wind blowing, making the doors and windows rattle. The more it went on like this, the more uneasy Mu Qingfeng became. He had deliberately raised his voice just now to attract the attention of the guards on duty in the villa, but now there was no sign of any activity, and the result was clear. Mu Qingfeng roared, "Who are you? Who are you, after all?" Still no answer, driving Mu Qingfeng increasingly mad. Meanwhile, his true qi burst forth, and his sword's cold light flickered with fierce sword qi rampaging throughout the room. "You skulking fiend, come out and face me in battle." This time, there was finally a response. However, the reply was a slash that tore through the sky and cleaved the darkness of night. Seeing this slash, Mu Qingfeng's panic-stricken expression finally eased. Unknown was the most terrifying thing, especially since the enemy had instantly slain Mu Yingbua, who was in the early stages of the true Qi realm. But now that he could see this slash, he wasn't as afraid. The opponent was strong, but not overwhelmingly so. As long as I can hold on for a few moves, escape this room, escape this courtyard, they are the ones who will die. Mu Qingfeng revealed a sinister smile. As the blade's light was about to descend, he made his move, darting towards the window. Just as he leaped out, he was hit by a burst of force, sending a chill down his spine. Thud! The sound of a long knife entering flesh rang out, followed by a powerful force striking his back. "How? JS, that possible?" These were the last words Mu Qingfeng uttered. From beginning to end, he did not even see the face of the person who killed him. Chapter 82. Chapter 82. Chapter 82. Warmth. Chapter 82. Chapter 82. Warmth. Your strength is not bad, but your intellect is lacking. A young man in a black robe slowly emerged from the darkness, approaching Mu Qingfeng's corpse. With a flick of the tiger head broadsaber, he decapitated him. "I never leave any loose ends when one take action. To prevent you from faking your death, one must do this." As Lu Yun muttered to himself and was about to leave, his gaze suddenly caught a small purple bag on the corpse. "B0XO. Come, the Sumi bag?" He flicked his wrist, and the tiger head broadsaber skillfully lifted the purple Sumi bag into his hand. He then walked over to Mu Yingba's corpse, searching it thoroughly but found nothing. It seems one thought too much. Lu Yun shook his head slightly and left. After killing Mu Qingfeng and Mu Yingbua, he did not leave Breeze Mountain Villa immediately, but wandered into the courtyards that seemed quite nice, breaking doors, killing people. No one could withstand a single strike from him. Some people even died in their sleep. After killing more than a dozen people, Lu Yun finally left with a flourish. It wasn't that he was soft-hearted. Breeze Mountain Villa was not like Skywind Stronghold or Black Tiger Gang, nor was it like White Cloud Villa colluding with the White Lotus sect. If he really massacred everyone in Breeze Mountain Villa, it would definitely attract the government's pursuit. Only killing more than a dozen high-ranking members would make the investigation less intensive and harder to trace back to him. Even if they could trace it back to him, it would be a long time later. By that time, he would have grown into a powerful being that ordinary laws could not bind. Moreover, for Breeze Mountain Villa, which lost more than a dozen high-ranking members at once, even if it continued to exist, it would have to live in the cracks. When Lu Yun returned to Spirit Creek Village, the sky was already dawning. "Xiaoyun, where did you go yesterday? How come you're just coming back now?" Lu He, who was practicing saber technique, complained as he saw Lu Yun. He took the reins and tied the pure-blooded black horse to a large tree in the corner of the small courtyard. "I had to make a trip back to the county town overnight, so I rushed back as soon as I could." Lu Yun explained before asking, "Where's my sister?" "She couldn't sleep because she heard that you were coming back." At this point, He glanced at Lu Yun unhappily and said, "In the end, one had to lie to her, saying you had important things to discuss with the village chief, and only then did she lie down." He looked up at the sky to see the first light of dawn and said she should be getting up about now. Lu Yun nodded, put the tiger head broadsaber casually in a corner, moved the half-open door, and entered the somewhat dark room. "Sis, I'm back," he called out loudly. In the corner of the room, a delicate girl with rolled-up sleeves was washing vegetables. After hearing Lu Yun's voice, she used her wet arm to brush the hair out of her face and looked back at Lu Yun with a smile. "Xiaoyun, wait a moment. The meal will be ready soon." "All right, 111 help you wash the vegetables." Lu Yun also rolled up his sleeves and walked over. No, you haven't slept all night. Take a break." Lu Yu hurriedly got up, blocking the help of Lu Yun. "It's fine. I can go without sleep for days now. I'm full of energy." As he spoke, Lu Yun took the task from Lu Ye's hands. "You've really grown up, not listening to your sister anymore." Lu Yu scolded softly, turning around to take the cleaned ingredients over to the stove to cook. When brother and sister work together, they can achieve anything like cutting through metal. It didn't take long for the table to be filled with delicious steaming dishes. I could smell something good from far away. Xiaoyu's cooking skills have improved. Eldest brother Lu, he entered from outside, wiping the sweat from his body with a piece of linen. He walked to the side of the table and took a deep breath with great satisfaction. Xiaoyun is back in a good mood, and the cooking is of course good. Lu Yu smiled as she picked up the chopsticks and handed them to Lu He and Lu Yun. The three siblings began to eat. During the meal, Lu Yu told Lu Yun everything that happened in Spirit Creek Village for the past 4 months and various anecdotes. Even though he wasn't too interested in listening, Lu Yun still did so obediently. Looking at the smiles on Lu He and Lu Ye's faces, Lu Yun somehow felt very calm and warm in his heart. Unfortunately, this warmth wouldn't last too long. Practicing martial arts is like swimming against the current. If you don't advance, you'll fall back. Even though Lu Yun had the panel, it was no different. After finishing their meal, and Lu Yu cleared the dishes, the two brothers, Lu Yun and Lu He, went to the courtyard. "Xiaoyun, take a look at my saber technique and give me some pointers." Lu He took out his hunting knife and began to display his saber technique. Whoosh whoosh. The saber technique was elusive, strange, and difficult to grasp, and the speed was extremely fast. This was the only second-rate martial art in Spirit Creek Village, called chasing wind saber. Because it was related to the third-rate breaking wind saber technique, Lu He had already practiced it to a small achievement and has spent a few months on it. Now he was stuck at a bottleneck and couldn't break through. As the peak meridian passage realm and an expert in saber techniques, Lu Yun naturally saw the problem with Lu He's technique at a glance. He didn't point out the problem, but stopped Lu He. "Eldest brother, let me practice with you." Lu Yun stretched out his hand, and a hunting knife hanging in the corner of the wall appeared in his hand from afar. You really want to practice with me? Lu He looked at Lu Yun suspiciously and said, even the Meridian Passage realm's peak Lu Kai couldn't withstand your single strike. Don't tell me you, this stinky boy, want to bloody torture me? Don't worry, I won't use true chi, and will even control my strength at the level of an ordinary martial artist in the middle stage of the enter-martial realm. All right, just don't go back on your word. Lu He looked at Lu Yun with doubt, and then took his stance. Lu Yun looked at his big brother with interest, hooked his finger, and signaled him to attack. Xiaoyun, be careful. Lu He's figure moved, turning into a blurry afterimage, and directly attacked Lu Yun. Lu Yun stood in place, with not a single bit of dodging, and directly slashed out with his knife. Bang! Lu Yun's knife was both fast and accurate, like a whip hitting Lu He's blade, causing Lu He to feel numbness in his arm and feeling like his hand was no longer his own. Too slow. Lu Yun chuckled and advanced forward. You could block it, but you didn't use more than the strength at the middle stage of the enter-martial realm, right? Even though he said that, Lu He wasn't shocked and immediately swept his long knife horizontally towards Lu Yun. Even martial artists at the same level as him rarely could block this attack. Bang! Lu Yun blocked it with one hand, and while doing so, the blade shadow was blurred and incredibly fast. Lu He only felt something brushing past his face. Lu Yun took another step forward and swung his knife. This knife was even faster. Lu He wanted to retreat, but the speed was too fast, and he couldn't dodge it in time. Bang! The blade's light flashed, and it accurately squeezed onto the hilt of Lu He's knife, causing Lu He to feel pain in his hand. The hunting knife in his hand seemed to be hit by some heavy force, and it was snatched out of his hand all at once. Looking at the hunting knife stuck in the ground, and then at his empty right hand, Lu He felt frustrated. He attacked first, but was defeated miserably after only 2 moves. I lost. Lu He stood in place, somewhat disheartened. I noticed that the saber technique you practiced earlier emphasized speed, but when you practiced and fought, you emphasized strength. To put it bluntly, you like to use brute force, which is the reason you haven't been able to break through the bottleneck. After hearing that, Lu He's eyes lit up. It seemed to make some sense, but he couldn't help but say, even using brute force, I still couldn't stop your knife. Did you use more power than at the middle stage of the enter-martial realm? Lu Yun smiled bitterly and explained, the reason I could repel you is that I have skills. Just by exerting a little force, I can achieve the effect of lifting 1,000 pounds. Skills. Lu He's eyes lit up when he heard this. Let's not talk about the skills for now. First, focus on improving your speed, and after breaking through the bottleneck of the saber technique, it'll teach you. Okay,